This is the story of Asano, whose entire family was killed in a car accident. Ever since then, he started to become isolated and sad because he couldn't bear the pain of losing more people. But during all this, his childhood friend, Mutsume, always stayed with him, and after his family passed away, she promised him that she would always be with him. But Asano's world is turned upside down when he finds out that Mutsume and her entire family are spies. Asano was sitting sadly at school. Just then, some students approached him, calling him to soccer practice, and they were doing this for the 10th time. But like every time, Asano refuses them again. They say to him, "Why don't you ever hang out with us, man? Come on, we'll show you the views outside the girls' hostel." But hearing all this, he gets even more nervous and faints. A little while later, Mutsume arrives with lunch. Meanwhile, those three boys were standing outside watching Mutsume, who is quite popular at school. After that, she was feeding Asano. But just then, the vice principal comes and eats the morsel. Seeing this, Mutsume gets angry and says, "Weren't you supposed to be out giving a lecture?" But Hirakawa says he missed her cooking so much that he changed his schedule, and as he leaves, he tells Asano to come to his office after school. After school, when he goes to his office, Hirakawa shows him many photos of Mutsume from his secret collection, and he even shows him his favorite photos of Mutsume. Seeing all this, Asano thinks about filing a complaint with the police. And wait a second, how does he have Mutsume's childhood photos? After this, Hirakawa says that Mutsume is very beautiful, but in that case, someone has to protect her. This kid proposed to her yesterday, so I explained it to him very lovingly, and see, he agreed. Hirakawa had beaten up Tanaka, and they even have a video of him apologizing, saying he would never approach Mutsume again. Seeing this, Asano was stunned, but then Hirakawa puts a knife to his neck and says, "I've let you off until now, only because you're her childhood friend. But now, you're getting too close to her. I'm sorry. I'm doing all of this for my little sister." But just then, a girl arrives. There. She presses a switch, causing a very bright light to flash, and in that moment, she takes Asano and leaves. When Asano's eyes open, he panics seeing Mutsume and so many strange people in front of him. Mutsume calms him down, saying these are all her brothers and sisters, and she introduces them all to him. This is her older sister, Futaba. This is her brother, Shinjo, another brother of hers, Kongo, another sister of hers, Shion, and her giant brother, Nanao. Wow, someone of such a tremendous size is named Nanao, and they also have a guard dog. Yes, this is the dog, whose name is Gulayat. Mutsume tells him that their entire family are spies, but Asano doesn't believe it and thinks he's being pranked. I'm sure this gun is fake too, but when he shoots it, it was real, after which they tell him that they have a 4.8 rating online, the secret to which is their eldest brother Kuro, who is the best spy in their family. Asano asks, "But why did he want to kill me?" Futaba explains that they got news from social media that someone wants to kill Mutsume. Futaba tells him that a long time ago, due to some mistake by Chiro, Mutsume almost lost her life, and that's the reason he now worries about her excessively. And because of that incident, some of his hair turned white. Since that incident, he doesn't let anyone get close to Mutsume. Only Asano was an exception. That too only because he was her childhood friend. But now, he has a reason to kill you. Just then, their alarm goes off, meaning Chiro has arrived, here to kill him. After this, they all prepare to confront him. But even if they all fight together, their chances of winning are only 30%. And it's also possible that one of them gets seriously injured. So Futaba gives them a solution. You can escape all this. If you marry Mutsume, our family has a rule that we don't kill our family members. And to get married, you just have to exchange these drinks. Hearing this, Asano's heartbeat speeds up. The fear of losing someone close to him again starts to torment him. Meanwhile, they were all preparing to fight their brother, but he, avoiding all their traps, arrives and sits down. Futaba tries to reason with him, but he wasn't willing to listen at all. So she grabs his tie, spins him around, and slams him onto the sofa, after which they all start fighting him together. But no one could land even a slight injury on him, and with a single attack, he throws them all away, and he threatens everyone. "If you want to see this house intact, hand Asano over to me." But Futaba steps forward to fight him, but he easily ties her up and hangs her from the ceiling. Shion tells everyone to step back, and she herself attacks him with the help of her drone. Asano was worried about everyone else, but Mutsume tells him not to be afraid. They are not allowed to kill family members, so no one will get hurt. After this, she tells him to hide in a secret place, but seeing that he is troubled, she says again that she won't leave him and go anywhere. Chiro destroys all the drones and arrives there, after which it was Gulayat and Mutsume's turn to fight him, but Chiro easily ties up Gulayat and also ties up Mutsume's hands. But it wasn't actually Mutsume, it was Kango who can change his form. Meanwhile, Asano was watching all this while hiding, after which Chiro realizes Mutsume has made a base with Asano. Mutsume tells him to leave Asano alone because he could never harm him. Chiro says okay, but then he adds that Mutsume can no longer leave the house and he will eliminate all the people around her so that no one can harm her, and he lets himself get stabbed and says that to save you, I can even risk my life. She was about to agree to his terms when Asano comes out and tells him to let Mutsume go. Chiro tells him to stay out of there, family matter. After which, Asano asks him, "So, are you married?" After which, Mutsume throws her ring towards him. But just as Asano goes to catch it, Chiro stops him with his webs. But even with his hands tied, he manages to catch that ring. Because of this, his hands get cut in several places, and he remembers how Mutsume had always taken care of him, and he couldn't bear to see her get hurt anymore because of Kairo. After this, their family arrives there, and they see that Asano has put on that ring, and he promises that he will always protect Mutsume. After which, at night, Asano was thinking about his marriage. Obviously, because of the marriage, Chiro was not happy at all. After this, when he wakes up in the morning, he sees Chiro standing in front of him with a knife again. "Hey man, spare me. What are you doing?" Chiro says, "Oh, brother-in-law, this is our family tradition. This is how we wake people up." And he says that this is also part of his training. A spy is always alert, even while sleeping. After this, he starts his training. Meanwhile, his screaming reaches Mutsume, and when she goes upstairs, she sees that Chiro was making Asano do yoga. Chiro, seeing her, says, "Oh, we were just practicing." Hearing this, Mutsume gets angry, seeing which, Chiro stops. But then suddenly, he grabs both of them and jumps outside. After which, suddenly, their entire house blows up with a bomb. And after coming out, he reveals that someone had planted a bomb in the house. After this, they were sitting in the car, where Shinjo reports to Chiro that the bomb was planted in the kitchen, meaning they specifically wanted to kill Mutsume. And they all had also found out that Mutsume had married Asano. Asano asks, "But why do they want to kill her?" Chiro explains that the Mutsume Yozakura family's 10th head is Mutsume, and their family's history goes back to the Edo period. Everyone in their family is born with some kind of superhuman ability, but in every generation, one person is born without any power, and that person is made the family head because only they possess the superhuman genes that can carry forward their spy family. That's why all the other family members protect them. After this, Kairo explains that as the family leader, she will soon step into the underworld, but before that, her mission right now is to gather intelligence about the ordinary world. But then suddenly, some people start attacking them from behind. Seeing this, Asano gets scared, but Chiro tells him not to worry. This car is bulletproof. After which, they attack them with an even bigger gun, but their car easily dodges all of them. But because of this, Chiro's tea was about to spill, so he tells the driver to drive a bit more carefully, brother. And we see that the driver was Gulayat. Seeing this, Asano is amazed, but Gulayat was a master driver, and when they are attacked with a rocket launcher, he dodges it with great ease too. But this makes Chiro's tea spill, so he gets out of the car in anger. He easily blocks all their bullets with his wire, after which he uses it to cut both of the cars in half. After which, he gets back in the car and tells Asano, "Because you are now a family member, protecting Mutsume is now your responsibility too." He says he will teach him to become a spy, and his mission for today is to protect Mutsume for the entire day. When Mutsume goes to her class, right after, Asano makes his entrance and starts scrutinizing the entire classroom. Just then, those same guys approach him, but seeing them, Asano starts to panic like a cat. After this, we see a flashback. Asano was nervous seeing the gun, but Kairo says that even if he kills someone, they will cover it up. Mutsume says, "Don't do such absurd things." Hearing this, Asano feels a bit relieved, but then she adds that the real dangers are bombs and poison, so that gun won't be of any use. After this, he warns them to be careful of a bomber named Tamaya, who, according to their information, had planted 3 bombs. One of them has already blown up your house, and probably the remaining 2 bombs are at the school. Tamaya is a bit eccentric. He is very active on social media, and also posts about his mission. "I have to go on a mission, so the responsibility to save her today is yours." Meanwhile, at school, Asano was very alert, and he was searching everywhere for the bomb, and that's why he kept following Mutsume all over the school. But then Tamaya makes a post, saying the second bomb has been placed. Seeing this, Asano's head spins, and just then, suddenly a ball hits him on the head. The boys come to check on him, but he sees a man from the window, and when he goes inside chasing him, a nurse comes up behind him and asks him if something happened. But Asano says, no, I just came here like that," and starts to leave. That girl smiles, and when he turns back to look, she had disappeared. After this, Mutsume was having lunch in class, but until now, Asano hadn't been able to locate the bomb. But by following Mutsume around, he had found out many things, that if someone offers her food, she doesn't eat it, and she is always with someone or the other. After this, those 3 boys come to her, and because they had hit him on the head with a soccer ball, they give him a chocolate, which he takes and puts directly into his mouth. Seeing this, they are all surprised, and they say that he has changed a lot, and as soon as he realizes this, out of nervousness, his stomach starts to hurt again, and he faints again. After After this, when his eyes opened, Mutsume was in front of him, and both were talking about their marriage. But just then, Asano's eyes fall on a bomb stuck to the ceiling, and just then, that bomb explodes. The students thought that someone had messed up in the chemistry lab. On the other hand, that nurse was with Nanao, and she wasn't actually a nurse. It was Kango. Meanwhile, Shion was also keeping an eye on them. The place where the explosion happened, they were both safe and sound. Asano starts to think, how did he know that both of us would be here at this time? Just then, he starts connecting all the clues and realizes that this was all his plan. And he also figures out the location of the third bomb. He understands that Tamaya was deliberately posting everything so that Asano would always stay with Mutsume, and in this way, he himself would become the cause of her death. Before the bomb explodes, he jumps out the window. But before he hits the ground, Chiro arrives and saves him and also deactivates that bomb. After this, they all go to the safe room, and his other brothers and sisters also arrive there, and they had brought someone with them. Mutsume asks, "What are you guys doing here?" Kango explains, "We just wanted to watch his first mission," and the person they brought was Tamaya. Tamaya starts begging him not to kill him, but Chiro wraps him up with his own bomb and throws him outside, after which everyone sitting in the room enjoys the fireworks. After this, Chiro was very angry because he had told Asano to stay away from his family, but Mutsume reminds him that his house has been reduced to rubble, so that's why he will stay with us now. Anyway, we are husband and wife. Hearing this, Chiro gets even angrier. But now, what could the poor guy do? After this, we see Asano lying on the ground, and a large man was choking Mutsume. He says to him, "If you couldn't save one little girl, who else will you save?" After this, he starts choking Mutsume, and with her scream, Asano wakes up. It was all just a dream. After this, as he was getting out of bed, his foot lands on Gulayat, and he bites him. He screams so loudly that his scream reaches Mutsume, and she comes there and is bandaging his hands, and she explains that she had sent Gulayat to keep an eye on him so that Chiro wouldn't harm him. And here, Asano's own life was in danger from Gulayat. After this, he tells Futaba that he wants to become strong, and that's why he wants her to train him, because he wants to protect Mutsume. But Futaba starts lifting him up and slamming him all over the room. She tells him not to rush, because even a talented person can take 3 years to learn something meaningful. After this, she tells him that if he wants to try their family's all-out training, he will have to stay in their mansion for 1 month, after which his training will begin. He was about to leave, saying thank you, but his foot steps on a trap, and he barely survives. Futaba tells him that the entire mansion is filled with traps, and this is part of his training. If you can't even survive this for a month, then forget about ever being able to save Mutsume, meaning staying here itself is life-threatening for him. After this, when the next morning the alarm goes off because he didn't turn it off on time, it explodes. So the poor guy runs out of the room, but he activates yet another trap, which almost burns him alive. After this, when he reaches the dining table, Futaba reminds him that this is part of his training. Asano asks, "How do you all avoid these traps?" She tells him that these traps aren't activated for family members. A computer controls all the traps, which will recognize him as a family member if he survives all the traps. After this, Asano starts to feel sick. Just then, Nanao reveals that their food contains poison so that they build a resistance to poison. But that poison gives him diarrhea, and when the poor guy goes near the toilet, he sees that to get there, he has to get past a locked door. Mutsume was going to help him, but Futaba stops her. But after hearing his screams, Shion tells him that to get inside, he has to crack the password, which changes every minute. But when they all start to smell the odor, they have no choice but to help him. The next day, all the family members were avoiding the traps. For Asano, every small task was like risking his life, and seeing his pitiable condition, they all start to worry about him, but he says he's fine. After this, we find out that the family had given him a shirt that was far too heavy, so the poor guy couldn't even lift it properly. After this, one night, Asano was practicing shooting because he would have to hit a target on a remote from a distance if he wanted to turn on the TV. Just then, Mutsume arrives and tells him to take a break, and she tells him that he shouldn't push himself so hard. But Asano says, "For you, I can at least do this much." After this, we see a flashback where they both say good morning to each other, after which she gets in the car and leaves. After this, at school, some girls were bullying Mutsume, and one of them was about to cut her hair. But just then, Asano arrives and starts cutting his own hair with those scissors. Seeing this, they think he's a psycho, so they quickly run away from there. He tells Mutsume that the guidance counselor had told him to get a haircut, so she shouldn't think too much about it. If she ever needs help, she can tell him. In the present, Mutsume tells him that he has always been with her, so he doesn't need to push himself so hard. After this, the next day, Asano turns off the alarm as soon as it rings, after which he dodges lasers and reaches a room, after which he picks up the gun and shoots the remote lying in front of him, and this time his aim is true, but he still didn't know how to change the channel. So Shinjo tells him that to change the channel, he has to shoot the correct button, and he fixes his stance for him. After this, Shion arrives there, and Asano asks her why Shinjo is always like that. Shion tells him that he is shy. That's why he always stays hidden in a trash can. After this, we see Futaba, who was making Kango work because he hadn't washed the dishes in the morning. After this, they see poison gas coming out from the front because Nanao was training Asano. Seeing this, Kango starts to go towards him, and Futaba kicks him in the face and tells him to focus on his work. Several days pass like this, and he avoids the lasers and reaches the dinner table where he was eating with everyone, but he still gets affected by the poison, and needing to go to number 2, he starts trying to crack the password outside the toilet, but he still can't open the door, so the poor guy starts screaming for help. So Kango was going to help him, but when he gets there, Asano was lying on the ground, so Nanao examines him and says that due to exhaustion, he has developed a fever and needs to rest, but Asano says he can keep doing this for another week. Just then, Futaba removes the fake skin from his body, and we see that his condition has become very bad. If he doesn't rest, he could even die. But Asano says that to save Mutsume, he wants to keep training. Just then, Futaba hits him on the head and says, "You can only save her if you survive, you donkey." And she tells him that surviving is also part of his training. After this, she gives him a book and says, "Read this properly during your recovery." After this, Futaba was watching a video where she was spinning Mutsume like a ball, and she thinks that Asano can protect Mutsume better than they can, after which she was looking at her family photo. After this, Asano uses the book to open the lock, seeing which everyone starts to celebrate, after which Asano's ring starts to glow. Seeing this, Futaba tells him that the house has now accepted him as a family member, and now his real training is about to begin. After which, Shinjo arrives with a 100-kilo t-shirt, and Shion increases the difficulty level from normal to high, and everyone starts cheering him. After this, Mutsume was cooking. Just then, Asano arrives and asks her how to wear a bra. Seeing this, Mutsume turns her face away because she thinks Asano wants to do something perverted. Asano says, no, it's not what you think. Just then, Kango arrives in a nurse's disguise who was training him. Just then, Shinjo arrives and asks what's going on here. Just then, Asano removes Kango's mask. After this, Chiro arrives, who was going on a mission, and before leaving, he goes to kiss Mutsume, but Mutsume beats him up. Meanwhile, Shinso was also going on a low-level mission. After this, when they both reach school, a ball was flying towards Mutsume, but Asano stops it without even looking, after which he even throws it back. Seeing the speed of that ball, the coach asks him to join the team, but Asano ignores him and walks away. After this, they were both having lunch, where Mutsume tells him that because of the training, he has become much faster, so now he has to be careful around people, because when he passes by someone, he walks a bit too fast. After this, Mutsume asks for his help with some work, and in the next scene, we see that Mutsume was doing some paperwork very quickly, and Asano was helping her, where he sees divorce papers that Chiro had placed there to separate them. After this, they go to Kango's room, where he had created a mess. Mutsume says, "First, go out and do your work," but Kango says he had already finished the report. It's just lost somewhere in this pile of clothes. But when Asano goes to help him, a grenade lands directly in his hand, after which Kango says he really doesn't like doing difficult tasks, after which he starts dancing naked. Seeing this, Mutsume gets angry, so Kango starts to run away, and when Asano tries to stop him, he uses Mutsume as a base and easily escapes. Just then, Mutsume activates hibernation mode, and the entire large mansion goes into lockdown. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we see Shinjo going somewhere through the vents, and he sees through them with his X-ray glasses. The security there was much higher than he had thought, and they were all involved in printing counterfeit money. He takes out some security guards, after which he takes the original plate from there. But just then, the alarm goes off. After this, Mutsume and Asano were looking for Kango, but none of their siblings knew where he had gone. After which, they go to check Chiro's room, but it was completely filled with Mutsume's photos, so they leave empty-handed from there too. But just then, her brothers and sisters come to her. Mutsume asks them, "Where were you?" They say they were doing some work. Hearing this, they are all surprised. Just then, they hear a voice from behind, and it was Kango, who was hidden inside a painting. But before they could catch him, he starts running away. Asano was chasing him, but couldn't catch him, and they see that Kango had escaped through a secret passage. After this, Mutsume deactivates the lockdown, after which they both go to Kango's room. But just then, Mutsume handcuffs him and calls him Kango. Mutsume explains, "I know that after turning, you deliberately caught him and put him somewhere so that I would activate the lockdown, and Asano always lets me go through the door first." After hearing all this, Kango admits defeat. Just then, Kango sees their mother in Mutsume, after which he remembers his childhood. After this, Chiro arrives there, who was upset because Mutsume had ruined all the photos in his room. After this, Mutsume was cooking delicious food for Asano and feeding him, and just then, their family phone rings, and they see that Shinjo had called, who was crying out of fear because there were far more enemies there than he had thought, and all his weapons were used up. And Mutsume explains here that without his weapons, Shinjo becomes like a wet cat. After this, Asano goes to help him, and he had brought all of Shinjo's weapons. He was following Mutsume's directions, but then suddenly Suddenly, a man puts a gun to his head, but Asano remembers his training and takes him down right there. Hearing the noise, all the other people start to come there. Asano takes out 2 of them, but the third one starts calling for more security. Just then, we see in a flashback that before going on the mission, Shinjo had given him a gun. He shoots it, and electricity comes out, which destroys his radio. After this, Asano reaches Shinjo, seeing which Shinjo starts crying with happiness, and he becomes even happier seeing his weapons. But just then, security arrives. But Shinjo had become brave again, and he disarms both of them. After which, he goes outside and easily takes down all of them. After which, they were running away. And just then, a sniper shoots Asano in the leg. The sniper says that if they want the child's safety, they should drop their weapons. He sees a lot of blood coming from Asano's leg, so he drops his weapon. Asano remembers that Mutsume had told him that Shinjo loves his weapons the most, and if any weapon comes into his hand, he can defeat anyone. So Asano takes a fork out of the bag and throws it towards Shinjo, who uses it to destroy his entire gun, and after that, uses his own gun to take him down too. After this, Shinjo was carrying Asano in his arms back home. Asano says, "I came to help you, but I just caused more trouble for you." But Shinjo says, "I am your older brother. Protecting you is my responsibility, and for this, I will become even stronger." Hearing this, Asano smiles. After this, we see a man in that same building who had brought a small hammer, and he asks them, "Who do you work for?" When he gets no answer, he starts hitting them on the head with the hammer. After this, Asano was talking to Mutsume on the phone, but just then, a car stops near him, and a strange man gets out. So Asano hangs up the phone. He introduces himself as Police Officer Seiji and says, "You're Asano, right? I need to ask you some questions." He takes him to the police station, where Seiji shows him his photo. Seeing this, Asano panics. Seiji says that in the last few days he has done quite a few absurd things, and he has a lot of evidence against him. But he also knows that he is working for some secret organization, so he will let him go if he tells him everything about them. But Asano doesn't want to tell him anything, after which he mixes something in water and forces him to drink it. But Asano escapes using a balloon and spits it out. After which, Seiji goes to attack him with a hammer. Just then, Asano sees that there are many corpses lying in that room. Seiji says that he had taken out a drug dealer and that he isn't afraid to take the law into his own hands. Seiji starts choking him and threatens to kill him. Just then, Asano's eyes fall on a thread, and he realizes that Chiro is somehow involved in this, and he refuses to tell Seiji anything. So Seiji attacks him, which Asano dodges. But because of that, the back wall breaks, and we see that Chiro was listening to everything, and he tells Seiji that 20 rupees will be deducted for his terrible acting. Asano asks, "What's going on here?" Chiro explains that Seiji is their friend who covers up their crimes, and they help him with his investigations. Chiro asks him how Asano did in the test. Seiji says that he didn't reveal anything about them, and he tells Asano that he looks forward to working with him in the future. After this, he is in class, where his condition is quite bad. Mutsume comes there to check on him, but just then, the vice principal arrives and says that he will be taking their class today. Seeing him, Asano's mood gets even worse, after which he starts sleeping in class. Just then, Chiro throws a chalk at him, but Asano dodges it even in his sleep. But the chalk was so fast that it made a hole in the back cabinet. After this, Chiro starts talking to Asano in Morse code. He was telling him that a spy should be alert even in his sleep, just like a dolphin, which keeps half its brain awake even while sleeping, and he had learned this skill when he was just 15 years old. Asano says, "You stopped being human at the age of 15. After which, he says that if he sees him sleeping again, he will throw even more chalk. But Mutsume tells him to leave Asano alone. Seeing this, Chiro goes crazy and starts saying all sorts of absurd things. After this, Chiro takes out a small pill, and when he breaks it with a duster, sleeping gas spreads everywhere. This makes all the children faint. But Mutsume survives by wearing a mask. Chiro thinks Asano has also fainted, so he attacks him with chalk, but Asano uses his gun to destroy all the chalk pieces. Mutsume thinks he is awake, but he was actually still sleeping, after which Chiro throws a lot more chalk pieces at him, but this time too, he dodges them in his sleep, after which their chalk fight escalates a bit, and seeing all this, Mutsume was losing her mind. After this, at night, Asano is sleepwalking again, seeing which, Shinso gets scared. The next day, Asano was reading about how to date like a spy because he wasn't spending much time with Mutsume, so he was afraid they might get divorced. He was about to ask Mutsume out on a date when he gets a call, and Seiji says that he has an important mission for him. After this, Asano was sitting in an amusement park, where Seiji tells him that he needs to catch a dangerous couple who have illegal guns, but Seiji doesn't know what they look like, so he says he just has to look for suspicious couples. But when he looks around, he was surrounded by couples on all sides. He was the only poor guy alone there. But just then, his wife arrives and says that she has spoken to Seiji and that she can stay with him on his mission. Meanwhile, Asano thinks that he can use this opportunity to spend time with Mutsume. After this, they start following a couple and get on the roller coaster behind them. Where the other couples are enjoying the ride, Asano falls asleep there too. too, because compared to his training, this is like a swing. After this, when they were sitting on a bench, they pay attention to the couple in front, realizing they aren't as dangerous as they seem. After this, their attention goes to another couple, who were a pair of bodybuilders, so they start following them too. But during the ride, they start kissing, so Asano realizes that they are just normal couples too. After this, Mutsume sees another suspicious couple, and they both start keeping an eye on them, after which the guy starts talking about a special item. Asano thinks he is about to pull out a weapon, but he takes out a ring and proposes to the girl for marriage. Asano was tired of chasing people. Meanwhile, he has a rose that he wants to give to Mutsume. Just then, he sees a couple arguing, and he can't believe that this is the same couple that was enjoying the ride a little while ago. They suddenly pull out their guns. Asano realizes that they are his targets. Seeing the guns, everyone starts running away, and the two start firing at each other. Asano takes cover under a table and sees that his rose has been hit by some bullets too. Seeing this, Asano gets angry, and he takes out his gun and starts zapping them with electricity, and after a while, the police arrive and arrest them. Seiji praises his work, but when Chiro finds out that Seiji sent them to the amusement park together, he starts to get angry. After which, in the evening, they were watching the sunset. Asano gives her the ruined rose and says that he wanted to spend more time with her because she does so much for him. That's why he wanted to do something for her too. After hearing all this, Mutsume starts to blush and says, "I didn't think you would turn out to be so romantic." After which, this couple's evening ends right here, and I'm not jealous of them at all. Meanwhile, at home, Shion was tired after completing a mission and was about to go to sleep, but then suddenly, a girl starts hacking her system. Shion tries to save her system and was about to catch the hacker when the girl disconnects the system and escapes from Shion, and when she turns the PC back on, the hacker had stolen many of Shion's photos. In the morning, they both see Shion and ask why she looks so terrible. Shion tells them about the hacker and says that it was quite strange that she only stole Asano's photos. Hearing this, Asano feels a bit strange. After this, they were heading towards school. They were just talking about the hacker when suddenly someone attacks them, and the attacker is that same girl. They both try to run away from her, but cannot shake off the pursuit, so Asano prepares to fight her, but at that very moment, that girl attacks him, which Asano easily blocks. After this, the woman says that she loves Asano and that she wants to kill him. What a strange love this is. Matsumi recognizes her. Her name is Ayaka, and she is a manhunter, spy who chases after boys she falls in love with, and after that, she kills them with her needle. Ayaka reveals that she saw one of his videos on dark work. She had fallen in love with him ever since, but because of this, a company put a bounty on his head. Just then, she throws some of her needles upward, and we see that besides Asano's life, some other people are also after. Meanwhile, Ayaka's screws become a bit looser because she wants to kill Asano herself. Asano says that he is already married and he cannot let himself die. Hearing this, Ayaka starts crying and says, "You are choosing this witch over me?" She wanted to kill her, but no one can target the Yoshikawa family without Chiro's permission. So when she had asked Chiro for permission, he had said that she could do anything to the boy, but Matsumi should not get a single scratch. They cannot believe how Chiro could allow this. After which, Ayaka throws needles all around them and while leaving, says that they will meet again soon. But when they reach school, Ayaka is introduced as a new transfer student and she was given the seat right next to Asano. She pretends to fall and throws a needle at him, but Asano manages to avoid it. After this, he was living his normal school life and somehow avoiding all of Ayaka's assassination attempts. And even when he was having lunch with Matsumi, he was dodging all of Ayaka's needles. Seeing all her attempts fail, she starts crying, so she stabs all the students with her needle. She had put a mind-controlling poison on those needles, and she orders all of them to catch Asano. Ayaka was about to kill him when Matsumi arrives and tells her to stop. Just then, that same assassin arrives for revenge and shoots at Ayaka, but Matsumi pushes her out of the way. After which, Asano shoots that assassin. After that, he goes to check on Matsumi, and Ayaka asks, "Why did you save me after all?" Matsumi says that she is happy that someone else besides her can see how great Asano is. Ayaka sees her as an angel and falls in love with her. After which, when they were going home, she was clinging to Matsumi, and now she wants to kill Asano so that Matsumi becomes hers. Just as Asano was losing his mind, he gets a phone call from Shion. After this, the two of them were in her room, and Matsumi explains that Shion is always looking for people to play games with. But Asano doesn't understand why Shinjo is lying on the floor like that. Just then, Shion starts the game, in which they just have to defeat the incoming enemies. They were just playing the game when the time for the monster to arrive came. Asano is surprised that it's so soon, after which they had to fight a train monster. After which, Asano keeps pressing the button and they defeat the monster. After the game ends, news comes on the TV that a hijacked train has suddenly stopped, and Shion explains that she hacks into her target systems and converts her missions into video games, and to complete her mission, she must clear that game. After this, a helicopter was about to crash into a power plant. After that, that, the two of them start the next game, in which they had to defeat a dragon. Shion gives Asano a revival item and starts fighting the small monsters. Asano was having trouble fighting them, but he somehow activates God mode. Shion gets angry at him for cheating, after which Shion uses a combo and, while dodging its attacks, defeats the dragon. Asano applauds for her, but the game wasn't over yet, and many dragons appear before them, and we see that they are actually many drones. Shion thinks they have lost, but a bulb goes off in Asano's head, and he uses the revival item to bring the dragon back to life, and it starts killing the other dragons. And in reality, he was shooting down the helicopter drones, but some drones escape the helicopter and move forward. Just then, suddenly, Ayaka arrives and shoots down those drones. She had come to steal some of Matsumi's photos, after which Asano and Shion together destroy the remaining drones. After the game ended, Asano was finally about to breathe a sigh of relief, but Shion wants to play more games with him, and Matsumi had prepared for this in advance. After this, we see two spies who were completing a mission, but during the mission, Oga takes a break and starts reading a magazine in which he sees Asano, which he found interesting, but his partner Sui tells him to focus on work, man. Meanwhile, elsewhere, while Asano was training, he gets a call from Nano, who wants Asano to get him out of there. He tells him that he has secretly entered a lab that is creating a biological weapon, and his mission is to neutralize that weapon. He explains that the weapon is in that small capsule, and it can kill everyone within a 10 kilometers radius. But then, he eats that capsule. Asano panics seeing this, but Nano says his body is special and he can detoxify it, but it will take him 3 hours to do so, and due to the side effects, he will become unconscious there. So Asano has to get him out of there. Before the guards find out he is there, he has already knocked out all the researchers there, so for now, he is safe. After which, Nano doesn't seem to be killing them. After this, Asano enters the lab, but all the guards were lying there unconscious. He realizes that Asano didn't do this. Just then, a guard spots him and is about to shoot him when someone attacks him from somewhere, and the ones who attacked him were Sui and Oga. The two of them recognize him and understand that he is on a mission. They tell him that they work for the Hinagiku organization, which is a government intelligence unit. Sui explains that their mission is to neutralize the lab. Meanwhile, Oga listens carefully and realizes that there are many guards below them. After this, they proceed with their mission. But Oga wants to see Asano perform a few stunts, so he asks him to come along. And because they had just saved his life, he trusts them. Together, they defeat all the guards. Just then, two guards shoot at Asano, but Asano dodges both bullets and gives them electric shocks. And seeing this, the two of them are impressed. After this, they all reach the lab, where Asano goes to help Nano. Just then, Oga attacks Nano. In the attempt to block it, Asano's knife breaks. Oga tells him to step back, and Sui says that because he ate that pill, Nano has also become a national-level threat. And Sui reveals that he had followed Asano because they knew Nano had infiltrated this lab, and through him, they could easily reach here. But Asano tries to save him and tells them that if they advance, he will shoot them. But Sui attacks him with great speed, because of which Asano falls to the ground. Sui says, "I can't believe a weakling like you is in Matsumi's family." After that, he was about to kill Nano. But just then, Nano regains consciousness and says that he has detoxified the poison. After which, he shows them with a patch test that there is no poison in his sweat at all. So Sui trusts him and takes the patch test for documentation. He gives Nano an ointment for Asano's injury and says that Asano is very weak. He is utterly incapable of becoming a spy. Sometime later, we see Asano, whom Chiro had tied up. He shows him a magazine which said that he had lost to Hinagiku. He was angry about the disrespect to his family, and since that incident, they had started getting very bad reviews. He says to him, "You are dragging our family's reputation through the mud, and you are so weak that you couldn't even save Nano." Just then, Motsumi and Nano arrive, and they ask Chiro to apologize to Asano. They free him, but Asano was blaming himself for all this, and he feels that he is too weak for this family. Chiro tells him that he can still set everything right. He just has to defeat Hinagiku. After this, we see Sui arguing with a guy because he had occupied more seats than necessary, so Sui shreds all his clothes to pieces. Just then, he realizes that Asano is watching him, so he asks him, "Did you come here for revenge?" Asano says no, and in a flashback, we see that a spy's battle is a battle of information, so if he wants to defeat them, he must steal their intel. So basically, he will spy on a spy. Sui says, "Wow, a spy announcing his mission. You won't get far, you know?" Asano says that he wants to improve himself by keeping an eye on Sui for his family's sake. When the train stops at the station, Sui leaves from there with great speed. This is the intelligence unit's secret technique, which allows them to move very fast and silent, but Asano jumps and spots him, and he was just about to reach him when Sui attacks him. Because of this, his clothes are shredded to pieces, so the police catch him, thinking he's some pervert. After this, he continues pursuing them. Oga was surprised to see him. Just then, Sui attacks him again. After this, on the third day, he was still pursuing them, but even during lunch, Sui tears all his clothes. After which, on the seventh day, the two of them were fighting some thugs, and Asano was was with them, after which Sui attacks him, but this time Asano manages to save some clothes. Oga sees that his pants are still intact, after which Sui cuts both their clothes, but Oga thinks, why did he cut me? After this, Nano was looking for Asano, so Chiro explains that he is using him like a chopping board. Nano punches Chiro and asks about Asano's well-being. Asano says that he lost to them again. Asano says he feels utterly useless and he wants to become strong for the family. But Nano says that he is amazing because he always does something unexpected. Meanwhile, Chiro thinks that he enjoys being naked in public, but Nano punches him again. Just then, Asano realizes that everyone has some habit or another. After this, on the 10th day, Asano succeeds in pursuing Sui until night, which even Sui was impressed to see. But now he didn't want to encourage his childish antics, so he threatens to kill him. He attacks him with great speed, but this time Asano catches his hand because after being beaten so many times, he had figured out Sui's habit, and it was that his first attack always targets the center of the body. Asano lifts him and throws him. Sui lands on his feet, and now he understands why Asano must have been accepted into the Yoshikawa family. After which, Sui tells Oga to look after him. After Oga bandages his wounds, he says, "You did an amazing job blocking Sui's attack," but Sui says that he just figured out his habit, and he admits that. Asano has potential too. The next day, Asano finds out that the magazines were now portraying him as a shameless brat. Motsumi says, "No matter how humiliated you are, I love you." And Nano says that everyone's habits are different. Asano can't believe why this only happens to him. After this, Motsumi and Asano were in the park. Asano was just thinking about where they were going. Just then, Motsumi says hi to Sui. Motsumi explains that she knows Sui, but she is angry because he tried to kill Nano, so he tells her that he was just following orders. After this, Sui takes them to a cafe where he orders a drink with a long, weird name. But the bartender activates a hidden door and the three of them start falling down. Sui welcomes them all to the HQ and tells Motsumi to enjoy her drink, and he tells Sui to look down. He says that traps are installed here so that no one can intrude or get inside. Asano somehow reaches the bottom, avoiding all of them. But just then, a large ball was about to crush him to bits. But just then, the leader of Hinagiku arrives and, with a single punch, smashes that ball to pieces, and her name was Rin. She easily says that he is very weak and protecting Motsumi is beyond his capability. After this, they all sit down to eat, where Motsumi explains that Rin was Chiro's classmate, but she doesn't like him at all. But like Chiro, she also finds Motsumi very dear. That's why she wanted to marry a boy who could save Motsumi from Chiro. But this brat is utterly useless. Just then, the wall next to them breaks, and from that explosion, Cairo arrives there and he threatens Rin that if she doesn't return Motsumi, he will kill her. Rin tells him to leave, but Chiro thinks that she is turning Motsumi against him, so he attacks her, which she blocks. After that, the two of them start fighting each other, and because of their fight, shockwaves were forming, which started endangering the entire building. Motsumi tries to stop their fight, but they were moving so fast they couldn't stop. Just then, Asano comes and saves Motsumi, but their punches land on his face with full force, because of which he loses consciousness. Motsumi gets angry and says that if they keep causing trouble like this, she won't talk to them. So the two of them stop, and Rin realizes that Asano is tougher than she thought. After this, Rin gives Asano a mission. She tells him that Hinagiku is investigating a politician. His name is Yuri, and everyone likes him a lot. But they don't know that he works with 3 spies who had committed many crimes to help him rise to the top. Now, because the next election is coming, Rin thinks he will do something again, and she reveals that on a mission, they had also found a time bomb, and when they arrested the smuggler, he had told them that he sells bombs to his customers, and they think he was talking about Yuri, but that's not enough to arrest him, so they need to find out about his plan before he sets off the bombs. And they were sending Asano on this mission because he is not a member of Hinagiku, so it will be difficult to detect him. They disguise him as a girl because Yuri is hiring a female assistant. After this, we see Yuri at an event where he introduces his new assistant to everyone. But just then, some guys start chanting slogans against him. Because of this, his supporters get into a fight with them. During this, a large speaker was about to fall on their leader. Just then, Yuri comes and saves him and tells him that you also have the right to raise your voice. Seeing this, everyone starts applauding for him, after which an ambulance takes him to the hospital. But inside the ambulance, we see that it was all an act. After which, those spies also remove their masks. One spy shows him a graph where his popularity was increasing. Yuri tells all of them to share that video so that everyone votes for him. But Asano was hidden under his stretcher and wanted to expose his dirty tricks. Meanwhile, at the office, Asano was looking through Yuri's documents, but he doesn't find anything he can use against Yuri. Yuri's political campaign was going great, during which Asano sees sees that he is using wrong routes to reduce his competition. He was losing his mind because he hadn't found anything about the bomb yet. He doesn't understand when they commit crimes, because whenever he looks, they are dancing. But just then, he realizes that they all communicate through their dance moves. After which, when he starts paying attention to their movements, he sees Yuri, who is talking about a terrorist attack. And from their movements, he figures out that they are going to use the bomb. Yuri meets the Prime Minister, and his plan is to kill the Prime Minister himself with the bomb. But when Yuri presses the button, the bomb explodes outside the building, which Asano had placed there. But Yuri aims his gun at Asano and says that there is another bomb in the building and he knows about Asano's real identity. Yuri shoots him, and as he presses his button, a bomb explodes inside the building. But just then, he sees that everyone had worn shock-resistant jackets. After this, Asano stands up again, and Yuri realizes that his gun's bullets were also fake. But Yuri says, "Kid, calm down. You can't defeat the three of them alone." But just then, Sui arrives and, after cutting all their guns, says, "You are all under arrest." Seeing this, all the spies run away, after which Sui takes care of him too. After this, Asano is ordered to take Yuri to the headquarters, and the two of them were going by bus. Yuri tells him that he knows what happened to his family, but it was no accident. Asano asks him what he knows, but Yuri refuses to answer him. But just then, Sui calls Asano and tells him that the Prime Minister has been kidnapped. At that same moment, Yuri also frees himself. He takes out his earring, which was a bomb, and because of its explosion, he escapes from there. Meanwhile, at the mansion, Nano was working on a potion because he thought Asano might get injured during the mission. Meanwhile, Motsumi was also worried about him and had made the entire hotel menu for Asano, thinking that he would eat everything and get better. His other siblings were also waiting for him, but everyone thinks he will return beaten up. But on the other hand, Chiro is happy because in his opinion, Asano won't return alive from the mission. After this, we see Asano, who is bringing the driver to safety. Just then, he gets a phone call, and Sui says that they had suspected Yuri would escape because he was a legendary spy. But everyone thought he had been killed some years ago, but they were tracking Yuri to reach the Prime Minister. At that same time, Yuri reaches the Prime Minister. Yuri says that he has no interest in politics. After this, he reveals his true form. The Prime Minister asks him how he is alive. Yuri reveals that his daughter was killed, and he took many politicians' lives to get his complete revenge. But the Prime Minister already knew all this. So Yuri, whose real name is Kurugawa, wants the Prime Minister to tell everyone the truth. If he doesn't do this, Kurugawa will shoot him. Kurugawa was about to shoot him when the broadcast ends, and Asano had done this. After destroying the phone, he tells Kurugawa to let the Prime Minister go. But Kurugawa says that he knows about that electric revolver. So if he shoots him, the electricity will also hit the Prime Minister. Kurugawa shoots at him, but his aim misses. So Asano quickly reaches him and tries to throw him, but Kurugawa throws him down instead, and he says that he knows this technique well, and he also knows that Asano learned this technique from Futaba. Kurugawa ties him up and says, "I may not be a great fighter, but no one is better than me at collecting information." Asano asks him why he had taken on Yuri's guise. He explains that he was doing it for revenge. First, the politicians had hired him because he was very good at gathering information. After this, in a flashback, we see Kurugawa being shown by the politicians as having killed someone, and he was making it look like a suicide. After this, he comes home and celebrates his daughter's birthday. We learn that his wife had died, so he works very hard to give his daughter everything. She says thank you to her father and asks him if he had sent this gift, but that gift suddenly explodes. He somehow survives that explosion, but his daughter wasn't so lucky, and she dies in his arms. Kurugawa realizes that the politicians had tried to kill him because they didn't want to leave any witnesses behind. After this, he became a politician so that he could lure all the Prime Minister's allies to his side and take revenge on them. He goes to attack Asano, but just then, those three spies arrive and save him, and Kurugawa says that if he doesn't interfere, he will tell him the truth about his family. Asano says, "I want to know, but I'm not going anywhere. I don't want people to die." Just then, Sui arrives and destroys the floor, and all of Kurugawa's spies fall down. Sui says that he will handle these three and tells Asano to arrest Kurugawa. Asano goes to attack him with his poison knife, but Kurugawa blocks it and stabs Asano with it. Meanwhile, downstairs, those three spies know that Sui is Hinagiku's squad leader, and they also know about his special technique. But they said that he wouldn't last against them because each of them could control an element, after which the three of them combine their powers and attack Sui. But Sui easily slashes their attack, after which he quickly corners all three of them. He thinks about helping Asano, but just then he feels someone behind him. But when he swings his sword, no one was there. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Asano stands up again. Kurugawa tells him that you have also lost your family, so you know that you can never change that thing, and you will have to live with that pain forever. Asano says that you are right, and he remembers how depressed he was after his family died, but Matsumi was always with him and helped him move on. After which, he says that accepting reality is not the end. There are many things that can be changed. After this, Asano goes to attack him, him. Meanwhile, Kurugawa thinks that since he knows everything about him, he will easily predict his attack. But Asano suddenly uses Sui's technique. Seeing this, Kurugawa is stunned. Meanwhile, in a flashback, we see Chiro telling Asano that the world's best spies already know everything about him. So if he wants to defeat them, he must improve himself and do something new to defeat them. Asano comes from behind and grabs his hand, after which he uses the antidote given by Nano, which was stuck in his teeth, which can increase his speed. After this, Kurugawa goes to attack him with a knife, but with the fake skin given by Kango, he blocks that attack. After which, using Futaba's technique, he pushes Kurugawa's gun upward, and using the gum given by Shinjo, he jams his gun. After this, Kurugawa takes out his other gun, but Asano destroys it using Chiro's technique, after which Kurugawa admits defeat, and he says that he respects Asano because, unlike him, he didn't give up on life after seeing hardships, after which he gives him a note and was about to tell him the truth about his family, but just then, someone shoots him in the neck. While dying, he tells him to move forward in life without fear. At that same time, Sui arrives, who says that perhaps an assassin took Kurugawa's life and congratulates him on completing his mission. Sometime later, Asano reads that note because Motsumi takes him to a tree where Kurugawa had buried his daughter. He pays his respects to his daughter, and after following his instructions, finds a strange item. After this, when he reaches the mansion, everyone was standing to welcome him, and they were happy that he had completed his mission and returned safely. But Futaba sees that Chiro is sad because he didn't want Asano to return alive. The next day, Rin throws a party for Asano because she wanted to thank him for completing the mission, and she had gathered all the ingredients for the party with her own hands. But when she sees that Chiro is also there, she tells him to leave. But Chiro reveals that he has brought beer to share. After this, Sui cuts the meat into small pieces. After they are cooked, Asano takes them out in a bowl and gives it to Matsumi. But just then, Chiro comes and stuffs it into Asano's mouth. Then Rin comes and tells him not to interfere, after which the two of them start fighting over the food. So to save their lives, the four of them move away from there. Matsumi tells them to stop. Meanwhile, Oga goes to get some food, but a roll hits him in the face. They felt that today, food just wasn't in their destiny. Just then, Sui uses his technique to catch some food and brings it for the two of them. But Sui tells Asano not to use his technique because just using it once has left him in this state. After the party ended, Asano was thinking about that same item. He thinks that it might have information about that accident. Motsumi asks him, "Why aren't you opening it?" Asano says that he is afraid that he might become like Kurugawa, because if he finds out that someone killed his family, he will definitely avenge their deaths. Just then, Matsumi kisses his cheeks and he starts blushing, and then Matsumi says that no matter what happens, she will always be with him. Just then, they see that Asano had dropped that box, and inside it was a marble. Just then, Cairo arrives, whose eyes were bleeding, and he reveals that it has a recording, but along with that, he also threatens to kill him. Just then, Rin arrives and grabs him, so the two of them run away from there. After this, the two of them reach the mansion, but just then, suddenly Ayaka was sitting on Asano's shoulder. Asano asks her what she is doing here, so she explains that she has come here to save the two of them from an assassin. So Matsumi reveals that she is the one who called Ayaka here, who will work while living in this mansion. Ayaka explains that she knows what happened on their last mission, and she takes the marble from his pocket and gives it to Shion, who says that it is damaged, so it will take time to analyze it. Ayaka explains that the bounty on his head has increased, so many assassins will be after his life. So Ayaka wants to help him, but she will try to assassinate him so that he learns to avoid the other assassins. Asano says, "Have you gone crazy?" But Matsumi says that this is for your own good. That night, we see that Asano is tired, and Matsumi is going to make tea for him, but she sees that Chiro's tea leaves are finished. Just then, Asano's eyes open, and he says that he will take a bath first. He will have tea after that. But while Asano was bathing, Ayaka comes and tells him that even while bathing, he must be careful, and she tries to attack him with poison, but suddenly, she starts getting electric shocks. Asano realizes that his tie accidentally activated a trap, so he breaks the side wall and grabs the main power source, and he, along with Ayaka, endures the electric shocks and destroys that source. After which, he tells Ayaka that she should also be careful during training. But just then, Chiro arrives, who thinks that he is fooling around with some other girl, leaving his sister. So Chiro takes out a torture device that he was going to use on Asano. The poor guy had to save both his life and his honor. But seeing all their antics, Motsumi feels that Ayaka is blending into her family very quickly. After this, Asano was going for his next mission. Just then, Motsumi comes from behind because he had forgotten his phone. Just then, someone starts calling her phone, and Asano quickly takes his phone from her hands and leaves for his mission. Seeing this, Ayaka becomes suspicious of him and thinks that Asano is having an affair with some other girl. Ayaka reveals that she has been watching him for many days, and she thinks he is hiding something because for many days, he has been behaving strangely. The next day, Asano goes on a date with Matsumi, and he asks her why she brought Goliath along. Matsumi explains that Goliath only only goes on walks with the family head, and he is a special breed that has undergone many modifications. Just then, suddenly, Goliath's size starts increasing, and Motsumi explains that he is a guard dog who has been protecting their families' heads for hundreds of years. Motsumi sits on him and asks Asano to sit with her too, but Goliath hits him with his tail and knocks him down. Motsumi understands that Goliath doesn't like Asano, so she tells him to hold his leash. But after this, Goliath starts running, and he was so fast that he even overtakes the bullet train, and just holding that leash had Asano in bad shape, and when Goliath stops, Asano's condition was worse. After this, some children come there to play with Goliath, and when Motsumi was coming near them, Goliath notices that one of their balloons has a bomb attached to it, which explodes right then. But Asano saves everyone. But seeing this, Goliath gets angry, so he sniffs the bomb fragments and tracks the location of the guy who delivered it here. Meanwhile, Motsumi analyzes those fragments with her phone and starts talking to the bomber, who says that he wanted to kill her and tells her that she is useless because she has no powers at all. But Motsumi tells him, "You made a mistake by messing with my family." At that same moment, Goliath breaks down the door and arrives there, and the Joker realizes that his final day has come. After this, Goliath returns to Motsumi. Just then, she gets a call and remembers that she had to go home. So Motsumi tells Goliath to take them home, and this time, he lets Asano sit on him too. Asano was happy that he reached home on time, and Ayaka suddenly attacks him and calls him a cheater. Ayaka shows him a photo and says that she knows he is dating a girl. Hearing this, Shiro arrives there with another torture device, but he was about to torture him. Just then, two members of Hinagiku arrive there. Asano reminds her that she was supposed to give him that item secretly, but she knows that because of this, he has gotten into trouble, so she wants to help him, and she had come there with her grandfather, whose name was Kao. Just then, Motsumi realizes that Asano had gotten a call that day. They explained that they were working secretly with Asano to get an item, and we see that the item is Chiro's favorite tea leaves, which had run out. It is quite rare, but to gather its ingredients, Asano had gone on many dangerous missions because he wanted to thank Chiro for taking care of him, so everyone understands that Asano is innocent. Meanwhile, Chiro starts feeling guilty because he treats Asano so badly, and he had done all this for him. Ayaka apologizes to him, crying, but Chiro says that he would die but not apologize to this brat. So Motsumi tells Goliath to sit on Chiro. Meanwhile, Motsumi thanks him for the tea, and she is happy. After this, Futaba was training Asano, but this training leaves Asano in bad shape, after which they return home for a break, where Motsumi was looking at an album. Asano sees a picture in it where they were all having a party, and here we find out that the Yoshikawa family holds a spy exam, and whenever someone passes this exam, a party is thrown to celebrate getting the spy license. Asano asks them about this spy license. What happens? Futaba explains to him that a spy license is like a membership card issued by the Spice-created organization, the Spy Association, and they hold an exam every year. After passing it, you can become a member of the Spy Association, and you will also get a spy license. And she explains that these come in 3 ranks: bronze, silver, and gold. The higher your rank, the more dangerous your missions will become. Asano says that he also wants to take this exam. Just then, Kiro arrives there and says that everyone in our family passed this exam in a single attempt. You will definitely drag our name through the mud. It would be better if I just finish you off right here. Asano starts running away from there in fear, but Chiro still catches him. After this, they all had reached Shion, whose program was having some trouble, and all this had happened because of Ayaka. Just then, when her screen turns on, a ghost was visible on it. Seeing this, Asano gets scared, but Futaba's soul itself leaves her body. After this, we find out that Futaba is very scared of ghosts because any monster can be defeated with strength, but against ghosts, nothing works. After this, Motsumi tells that once they had all taken Futaba to a haunted house, but out of fear, she had destroyed everything. Just then, some sound comes from the ceiling, and after hearing this, Futaba climbs onto Motsumi. After this, Shion says that whenever she is alone with Gouliot, he does strange things. It must be the work of some ghost. Hearing all this, Futaba worsens Mutsumi's condition. After this, when they were all playing cards, Futaba takes Shion with her even to go to the bathroom. And when they were all watching TV, very terrifying news comes on the TV. Just then, Shinso destroys the remote with his gun. But at that very moment, Kago appears in front of Futaba wearing a terrifying mask. Seeing this, Shion starts pulling his ear. After this, when Motsumi was cooking, Futaba was still on top of her. Even while bathing, they were together, to the extent that even while sleeping, Futaba stays with her. Just then, some sound comes from the ceiling again, which makes her even more scared. So Motsumi takes out Futaba's favorite book and starts reading it to her. But while narrating the story, she falls asleep. After which, Asano reads the rest of the story, and after the story ends, Futaba becomes very happy, and she remembers that in her childhood, her mother also used to tell her the same story, and at that time, she was not afraid of anything. But now, despite being the eldest daughter in the family, her condition has become so bad, and she thanks Asano for listening to all her things. Meanwhile, Asano says that he also wants to become strong for that reason, so so that he can save his loved ones. After this, we directly see the exam scene where a race was going on among all the participants, and thick chains are tied to everyone's feet. But despite this, Asano comes first in the race. Because of his victory, this Chipri was angry. After this, Mutsumi congratulates him for his victory, and that Chipri was also standing there hidden and suddenly attacks Asano. But just then, a guy saves him and tells him that fighting among students is forbidden, after which that Chipri leaves from there. Asano thanks him for the help, but he says that whom we love, we should always protect them. How your skin is glowing in the sweat. I would like to taste it with my tongue. After hearing all this, Asano aims his gun at him and says, Motsumi, stay away. This guy is a pervert. Just then, that guy says, you are aiming a gun at me. You have already wounded me with your sharp gaze. But just then, Motsumi recognizes him. His name is Tsukio, who is the #1 playboy in the spy world who flirts with everyone, be it of any gender or age. So basically, he wants to say, no limits of age, no bonds of birth. Just then, Motsumi tells him to stop his antics. But Tsukio says that you cannot stop me from loving someone, and he tells Asano that I have already fallen for. And Asano is surprised to see that Tsukio also has a doll of him. Just then, an announcement happens that the next round of the exam is about to start. Hearing this, Tsukio drags Asano and takes him away. In the next exam, Asano was in a water box, from which he had to unlock and get out. But Asano gets out of it very easily. But as soon as he comes out, Tsukio tells him, you look so salty after bathing in the water. In his next exam, he had to hide from enemies. But just then, an enemy comes near him. While running away from him, Tsukio catches him and hides him by keeping him close to himself. In the next exam, they all had to defuse a bomb, but Asano clears this exam easily too. But in front of him, Tsukio had also defused the bomb very easily. After this, they all had a written exam in which if they gave even one wrong answer, their condition would be made like this. Asano was having a lot of difficulty in this test, but just then, Tsukio shows him all his answers. And after all the tests are over, Tsukio comes to Asano and tells him that you must be tired, so why not rest your head on my lap and relax? After this, they are all in a room where a prone spy license appears in front of them, and whoever reaches that license first will get to keep it. But the twist is that the path behind them will slowly keep disappearing. After this, the test starts and whoever lags behind even a little due to the path breaking falls down. After this, they all keep moving forward, overcoming many obstacles. But just then, suddenly that Chipri punches Asano and pushes him back. But Tsukio saves him with his technique and sends him inside. But because of this, Tsukio was about to fall down. Just then, Asano grabs his hand and saves him. After which, Tsukio uses his technique and comes up with Asano. After which he tells Asano that he passes and introduces himself as the silver rank spy Tsukio, and tells him that he was the one monitoring this exam. Meanwhile, that Chipri gets the bronze card, but that old man tells him that you have failed. After which, another card appears there, which Tsukio gives to Asano. Asano says, oh, so all that you were saying about liking me, that was all an act, right? Tsukio says, not at all. I really like you. Come, let's celebrate your passing in the Oyo. After which, everyone is making preparations for a party in the joy of Asano getting the license. Just then, Chiro comes down from the roof, and he reveals that he has made many secret passages to watch Motsumi. Just then, Futaba becomes suspicious of him, and when she grabs his neck, many things fall from his pocket. From this, she understands that it was Chiro who had scared her all day yesterday and before. Kairo could run away from there. Futaba breaks his bones. After which, a photo of that celebration is taken, and Matsumi pastes that photo in an album and keeps it. Sometime after this, we see Seiji. He is informed that the old man he had captured has escaped from his custody, and now he is going crazy because after escaping, he could be anywhere in the world. But actually, he is hiding in Asano's bag. After this, when that old man comes out of the bag, which he had somehow gotten into, he apologizes to Asano, but he had to do it because the house's facial recognition system would not recognize him now. After this, he says, won't you welcome your new grandpa? But Asano wasn't even listening to more than half of what he was saying and immediately shoots the old man. After a lot of shooting, Motsumi clears all the misunderstandings. That old man is actually their grandpa, Ben. After this, Ayaka comes with a towel for grandpa. But after taking the towel, he compliments Ayaka's beauty and says, Sonio, will you go on a date with me? And for your information, let me tell you, Ayaka's age is 16 years. Now you must have understood why this old man was in jail. After calming himself down, he meets both of them and praises Asano for attacking him so quickly and says that I really liked your pairing. Further, he wants to give Asano a thick bundle of notes as a wedding gift. Mutsumi asks him, did you come here just to congratulate us on our wedding? Grandpa says, yes, absolutely. Which grandfather wouldn't want to come to his granddaughter's wedding? I was going to come earlier, but there was some trouble. After this, he wants the grandfather and grandson to go out together and starts dragging Asano away. But before they could go out, Chiro stops Ben. Ben was surprised to see what he was doing at home because he was supposed to be abroad on a mission. Chiro tells him that he had to return because the police had made an emergency call to him and had told him to capture the escaped criminal Ben Yokura. Ben says that it wasn't that big of a deal. I was just sentenced to life imprisonment in a maximum security prison, and that too is an undercover mission. I will have a little fun and go back. But Chiro says that he cannot let him go out because even though he is a spy, he blabbers too much, and if it's about impressing some girl, he might even reveal national secrets. Further, Chiro says that it is in your best interest to quietly return to the prison. Hearing this, Ben says, "Do you think you can stop me? I am the most experienced and senior spy in this family. Stopping me from going anywhere is not in your power." Just then, he uses a smoke bomb and escapes from there. By the time the smoke clears, from there, Ben had already fled the house, taking Asano with him. After this, Chiro informs Seiji that Ben has escaped from him, but because he has taken Asano with him, they can track his location through him. And while all this was going on, Gouliot brings an old photo to Matsumi. After this, at night, Chiro tells Asano that Ben is a very famous spy in the world who can dislocate his joints as he wishes, and also his skeleton is very flexible. Because of this, he can easily infiltrate any facility, and using these skills, he has gathered a lot of information over the years. So in such a situation, there are many people who would want to extract that information from him, and he tells Asano that no matter what it takes, he must stop Ben. Just then, Ben starts telling national secrets to impress girls. Asano tries to cover his mouth, but Ben escapes easily like a fish. Ben says that you are still a child. You cannot catch an experienced player like me. But just then, he sees that Asano had already applied glue on that spot. He was completely stuck there, if he weren't so shameless. And then he takes off all his clothes and comes out. He tells Asano that if you even want to touch me, you will need to learn for many years. After this, Asano tries many times to catch him, but after all his tricks fail, he gives up. After this, Asano asks him why he escaped from jail when it is just an undercover mission. He could have waited for the mission to complete. Ben tells him that today is a very special day for him. Just then, the bartender arrives, and he recognizes that Ben had come there a few years ago as well. Ben says that it was his wife's favorite drink too, and offers it to Asano, and Asano refuses because he is not of drinking age yet. Ben tells him, "Why do you follow the rules so much? If things keep going like this, I will never be able to see my great-grandchildren from you." Further, Ben says, "I will tell you everything about what I did with your grandmother to have our children." Asano doesn't want to listen, but grandfather keeps blabbering. He tells how beautiful his wife was. Before meeting her, he didn't care about anyone in the world, not even about himself. But when he met her, everything changed. She was the first person he wanted to take care of, and she was the one who told him to take care of himself as much as he took care of her. After this, he says that, "This is why I came to talk to you, because you have also married into the Yokura family. No matter how much you love her, but life can end at any time." So he tells Asano that he should enjoy every moment, lest he feels regrets later. But Asano says that you don't need to worry because Mutsumi has made me happier than I have ever been before, and I try my best to keep her just as happy. Hearing this, Ben becomes happy and takes him to another cool place. Just then, an old lady arrives there, and as soon as she arrives, she puts handcuffs on Ben's hands and tells him that there is a bomb attached to them. So, if he forces his way, his wife's hand will also blow up along with his. After this, Mutsumi also arrives there and tells Asano that she is his grandmother. Hearing this, Asano is surprised, because from the way Grandpa was talking until now, he thought that Kyoko had died. Just then, Ben hugs her and tells her that they should go to the gate because by talking to so many girls, he has found out what the best gift for her would be, and he has also brought her favorite wine for her. But Grandma says it will be fun on the anniversary date, but we have a lot of work, and tells him to go back to the prison, after which Ben agrees. Asano says that now he understands why he worked so hard to escape from jail, because today was his anniversary with Kyoko. Matsumi had also forgotten about the anniversary until Gouliot showed her that photo. Meanwhile, Asano still finds all his antics absurd, but he can understand why someone would do all this to be with their lover. Meanwhile, Mutsumi had overheard all of Asano's conversation with his grandfather, and she also knows that Asano had said that marrying Mutsumi was the greatest happiness of his life, and she tells Asano that she feels the same way. Meanwhile, in the car, Ben says that Mutsumi has found a very good husband. Kyoko says, "Yes, absolutely, just like I found." A few days after this, Ben breaks out of jail again and comes to meet the family, but only Ayaka was home. She tells him that everyone has gone on the monthly shopping trip. Meanwhile, at the mall, everyone is stuffed, and because everyone has some work, they all split up. But before Chiro can leave from there, Futaba tells him to pay everyone's bill because he is the eldest. But Chiro says that apart from Matsumi, he doesn't care about anyone. But when Matsumi tells him, he has to obey. After which, they all decide that they will meet after 2 hours. years. Meanwhile, Asano recalls that he has come to this mall after many years. Asano asks her, "What are we going to buy?" Motsumi tells him, "Just household items, milk, toilet paper, grenades, and bullets." She takes 20 grenades from a vending machine in exchange for 300 yen. After this, she goes to Starbucks and instead of coffee, orders 100 kilos of bullets, and she gets them too. Asano is left wondering if this is a normal mall or what. Motsumi tells him that this mall supplies things to spies and different underworld criminals. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Shin has bought a new memory card, but Shinji is stuck on which gun to buy, so Shion chooses for him. Meanwhile, Futaba is getting a massage because this month she is tired from fighting so many people. Meanwhile, everyone else is also buying their own things. Meanwhile, Chiro buys a very special book. Asano also starts to understand a little how this mall works, so he also buys a bulletproof shirt. After this, when he was going to meet Matsumi, a little girl grabs his hand and asks for help. Asano takes her to Matsumi. That little girl tells that her name is Shuzu and that some terrible people have taken her father downstairs. Mutsumi understands what is happening here, and she tells them in the elevator that there is a black market in the mall's basement. Asano was surprised that such a place exists beneath the mall, but Mutsumi tells him to be careful, otherwise someone might kidnap and sell him from here. They are safe so far only because everyone knows how dangerous it can be to attack Matsumi. Just then, they see Shuzu's father, who used to sell drugs for a drug cartel before, and now the same people are threatening him because after having his daughter, he had left that job, and for this, they want to take out his eyes and kidneys. But before anything happens, Asano shoots him. Shuzu is reunited with her papa, but their problem has now increased because now the entire black market wants to collect the $5 million bounty on Asano. Asano alone cannot handle so many people, but before anything can happen, Hiro arrives there and saves him, and immediately after, the rest of the family members also arrive, after which they all trash the entire black market in a little while. Because of this, the basement floor collapses, and the Yokosakura family's shopping mission ends successfully. After this, we see Asano playing video games with his little brother, and his mom says that he is wasting too much time on games, and she tells Asano's father that he should spend more time with his family because he is always busy with work. Asano's father says, "We are going camping, but now it rained, so what can I do?" At that very moment, their car crashes, and in that crash only, Asano survived alive. Just then, his eyes open. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Shion has analyzed that file and reveals that it contains the names of the guests who attended their parents' wedding, and Asano's parents' names are also on that list. Hearing this, Mutsumi starts crying and says, "Leave me. It must be because of my family that your parents were killed." But Asano tells her that we don't know about this for sure yet, and no matter what happens, he wants to be with her always. He asks Shin for help to find out the truth, but Shion says they don't have enough information. But it is also surprising that they found that list because it was top secret. Shion thinks that the underworld must be involved in this, so she says that they should go to the Library of the Dead. It contains information on people who disappear without any clue. Asano heads towards the library, and we find out that the Spy Association itself sponsors that library, so he can go there using his license. Just then, a guy laughs there, but the librarian there kills him and says, "Maintain peace here." And Asano understands that his life could be in danger in this library too. Shion tells him that the librarian's name is Mei, and she takes the life of anyone who makes a sound. So Shion tells him that you are safe as long as you don't make a sound, but Mei's hearing is superhuman, so even a slight sound can get you killed. Shion lowers the volume on his earphones, and Asano starts searching for the information. Very peacefully, he finds a book about his parents, and after reading it, he finds out that it doesn't say why that accident happened, but that book had a slot for a storage device, so he inserts the pair there. Just then, he sees that it was actually a key, which reveals the truth about his family's death, and that it was not an accident. An organization named Ten Popo had them killed, and everyone thinks that Asano was also killed in that accident. But just then, the book detects unauthorized access and explodes. Shion quickly tells him to escape from there because Mei will surely come there to take his life now. Just then, Asano dodges Mei's attack and shoots the circuits, there damaging them. In the darkness, he tries to escape from there, but Mei could still track him. Just then, she attacks Asano. Shion says that you cannot defeat her. Just then, Motsumi tells her to remove her earphones, after which she screams very loud. That sound was so intense for Mei that it causes her to faint. After this, Asano returns to the mansion, where Chiro was torturing him. He asks Asano about Tenpopo. Chiro tells him that it is a very dangerous organization, and they were the ones who had his mom killed, and now they are after Matsumi's life too. That is why Chiro is trying to eliminate them, but he hasn't been able to gather much information about them, and he only knows that they all have the same tattoo on their hands. So for more information, he wants to know more about Asano's family. Upon researching, he finds out that Asano's father worked in a hospital, and when he looks into the medical industry, he sees that 15 health workers had died within 1 month, and they are all connected to a doctor named Makoto. After this, Asano disguises himself as an old patient so that he can go to Makoto's hospital, and Motsumi had also come along, having changed her disguise. They get inside the hospital, but Asano says that he feels very heavy because Chiro had put weights on his body so that he would move like an old man. They meet Makoto, who, after checking him, says that he looks completely healthy, and Asano sees no evil in Makoto. After this, Motsumi was feeding Asano, and Asano says that he can eat by himself because no one is around. But Motsumi says that they should always be alert, and the two of them talk about how they want to live a peaceful life with each other and want each other by their side in their final moments. At night, after Makoto leaves, Asano comes out and secretly goes to his office, where he inserts the pen drive given by Shion into his laptop. There, he sees a file about Tenpopo. It talks about a project they are working on. Asano finds out that it is related to Matsumi's family, and that they are so talented because their mother's blood has a special protein called somanin, which gives them superhuman abilities. Tenpopo thinks that by using this, they can enhance other people's abilities as well. But this somanin protein cannot be created synthetic, so to create it, they need Matsumi's heart. But at that very moment, Makoto arrives there and attacks Asano, removing his mask. Makoto can't believe that he is still alive, and Asano asks him, "Did you kill my family?" But Makoto doesn't answer him, and says that no one can stop them. Just then, Asano sees the same tattoo on his neck. He attacks Asano, but he avoids it thanks to the weight given by Chiro. Asano pushes him and shoots him and says that he will protect Matsumi, but the electricity was having no effect on Makoto. Makoto presses a button, causing a very bright light to appear there, and he leaves from there, taking his laptop with him. But Shion had already downloaded all the information into the pen drive, and he is ready to do anything to save Matsumi. Further, Asano was checking the information on that pen drive, but he doesn't get much information about Tenpopo. Just then, he finds a receipt for the Deadline Hotel. On the other hand, Makoto was reporting to the other members of Tenpopo. Asano is Matsumi's husband, and he will never stop pursuing us. So when I get the chance, I want to try something on him. The next day, Asano wakes up on a boat, which makes him nervous. Actually, Ichiro had brought him there because he wanted to spend time with him. They start fishing, and Asano catches a big fish. And there, Ichiro was talking to him in a very nice way, which starts to feel suspicious to Asano. You don't need to be so suspicious. You worked so hard in training. You were bound to get a reward. After this, Asano starts fishing again, and this time, he catches a guy who, as soon as he gets on the boat, starts trying to kill him, but Asano kicks him and knocks him out. This is part of your training. I used to come here for training with Futaba before, but these guys really want to kill you because I sent invitations to all of them. You still have to work very hard. You are only at the bronze stage, but everyone else at the great school had reached the silver stage. I can understand that this training is difficult for you because, after all, you are just an ordinary person. It's nothing like that. I can handle all of them. I was trained by your very siblings, but during the fight, a torpedo comes and hits their boat. Asano saves a bounty hunter. Who shot that torpedo? Ichiro explains to him that Tenpopo has a fighting machine in the water that works automatically, which protects their smuggling route. They are known all over the world, so even the best spies would struggle against them, so it would be better for him to back off instead of fighting them. I don't care about them. To save Matsumi, I can do anything. Our thinking is the same on this matter. After this, Ichiro picks him up and throws him far into the water, where another torpedo was heading towards Asano. He tries to grab it with a rope, but he was also being pulled along behind it. It will kill all the bounty hunters in 30 seconds. Until now, you have always sacrificed yourself to save others, but now you are a professional. Use your training. So he uses Shinso's knife to open that torpedo from the outside and uses one of his devices to disable the torpedo. He comes out of the water, and all the bounty hunters thank him because he had saved their lives. After this, we see the submarine that had fired the torpedo, and the operators are wondering why their torpedo didn't explode. Just then, they see Asano and Ichiro coming towards them, and he uses his threads to tear that submarine to pieces. Further, Ichiro tells Asano that the deadline is somehow connected to Tenpopo, and according to Seiji's information, Makoto is staying in that same hotel. So Asano goes there to investigate, and Aichi tells him that Shinji is also coming to help him, and explains to him that if he is caught, he will be killed. Asano starts going to the upper floor via the elevator, but it scans him and punches him out. And another worker explains to him that only VIPs can go to the suite via the elevator, so he uses his gecko gloves to try to go up like Spider-Man. But a couple was fighting in one room. Because of this, Asano's grip breaks and he falls straight down into the pool below. Oh my god, I really almost died just now. Just then, he hears a woman who was telling an employee to take her dog to her room on the suite floor. Hearing this, an idea comes to his mind. After this, we see Makoto, who is talking to the hotel's owner. "No man, I have brought a new batch for you. It is better than before, and has fewer side effects." Just then, Asano arrives there and tells them to surrender, but he was wearing a cat costume. Seeing this, both Both of them get confused. Makoto recognizes his voice. "I don't have time to fight you." As soon as he says this, a helicopter arrives behind him, and No Man starts fighting Asano, and taking advantage of this opportunity, Makoto escapes from there. After this, No Man starts using the product that Makoto had given him. "I can even give my life for Makoto, so I must kill you here." This is Tenpopo's new product, Hazakura. It contains something that mimics Somanin, and whoever uses it gets superhuman power. He uses that Hazakura, and his body suddenly starts growing. He destroys his gun and punches him, throwing him far away. "I feel bad for you. You are going to die in your youth. Oh, you are still standing, and you even stabbed me with a knife. Impressive." But his body regenerates very easily. "My body is not just strong and powerful, but also supports regeneration, but it is still weak compared to Matsumi's siblings." He was about to kill Asano, but just then the ground starts shaking, and Shinji arrives there and attacks No Man with a laser beam. But even after this, he stands up again and recognizes that Shinji is a gold-rank spy. Meanwhile, Shinji takes out all his weapons and starts continuously shooting at No Man. He attaches a device to Asano and throws him down from the building. Because of this, Asano's shirt tears again, but just then, the device activates and a parachute opens. On the other hand, Shinso starts fighting No Man. No Man attacks Shinso, but both of their strengths were equal. "See the detonator in my tooth? If you don't surrender, every person present in this building will be killed." So Shinso stops fighting him, and No Man keeps attacking him continuously, because of which the whole building felt as if there was an earthquake. But even after so much beating, Shinso was standing straight and says that he was waiting to lose something. Just then, No Man starts hearing the voices of his employees who were reporting a terrorist attack. Downstairs, Asano was scaring everyone, so all the people present start leaving the hotel, and No Man's employee informs him that everyone has left the building. So Shinso attacks him. "Hazakura will never be able to match our family's powers." He takes out his ultimate weapon. "Because of its design, it is very difficult to use. In my entire family, only I can use it." He starts charging the weapon. "This won't work on me. I can easily dodge it." But just then, the floor starts breaking, and Shinso reveals that Asano has hacked the detonator and his cameras. "You underestimated Asano. That was your biggest mistake." Shinso fires his weapon, and No Man cannot dodge his attack. "Your work is finished. I got a lot of data during your fight." Shinso tells Asano that he has defeated No Man and that they should head back now. But just then, Asano starts to fall, and a guy comes and catches him. "Are you okay?" Asano doesn't understand why he didn't leave with the others. "Take care of yourself, because I cannot save those whose bodies are weak." After this, Shinso arrives there and sees that blood was flowing from Asano's body. After this, Asano faints right there. Further, they return to the mansion where Naino says that his body has been hit by many bullets, and it is miraculous that he is still alive, but it will take time for him to regain consciousness. Ichiro starts drawing on his cast, so Futaba beats him up, and Naino throws him out. "You stay away from Asano." Matsumi says that they should leave because Asano needs rest, and Naino gives her the medical supplies so that she can use them if needed. On the other hand, Ichiro was drinking tea leisurely. Just then, Shinso comes to him, wanting to talk to him. "Are you feeling guilty? There is no need to feel that way. No, it's something else. I still can't believe that thing. Asano was standing fine in front of me, but then suddenly, blood started flowing from his body. I have superhuman hearing, but even then, I didn't hear anyone shoot Asano. That means he was shot before I even reached there. But his body's reaction was slow. It's hard to believe this, but I know one who can do such a thing." Just then, an alarm starts ringing. Its sound was quite strange. So Shion tells him that the alarm rings when there is an intrusion or someone enters their house, and that alarm is now telling him that 1,000 enemies are coming their way. After this, we see the Hazakura battalion gathering outside their house. One of them was about to go inside, but their leader, whose name is Yama, stops him. "Quietly follow the given orders." "Yama, man, handle the matter a little peacefully. It is necessary to do this to put them in their place. Otherwise, because of Yazakura's side effects, they become very violent. Complete the mission carefully. We injured Asano so that their entire family would gather in one place. Move forward and eliminate all of Matsumi's siblings." Meanwhile, Futaba felt that their security codes might have been leaked. Meanwhile, Gouliot appears in front of all of them, who, after increasing his size greatly, starts attacking them. After this, the other people also arrive there, and, teaming up with Gouliot, start killing all the intruders. But during the fight, Futaba realizes that they are very strong because they were getting back up, even after her attacks. All the intruders start advancing towards the house, but in front of the door, Chiro was sitting, alone. Seeing this, they think they can easily defeat him, but his wires stop all of them. "As long as I am here, you cannot even set foot in the mansion." On the other hand, Gouliot is beating them all up, and they feel that they will never defeat that monster. But Yama tells them to keep advancing. He further explains that ordinary people have a 3% compatibility with Hazakura cells. Meanwhile, No Man's compatibility was 10%, but he still couldn't defeat Shinji. Yama uses his powers and says that he is 6 6 times stronger than No Man. He punches Goliath, because of which he flies and breaks the mansion's wall. Yama sees that Achiro had removed his wires because he did not want to harm Goliath, and he says that their biggest weakness is their love for each other. Achiro threatens to kill him, but then he hears something in the speaker, and that man activates hibernation, because of which the entire mansion gets surrounded by high walls. Because of this, Yamazuchi escaped from Achiro. After that, Futaba arrives there and says that she recognized that man's voice. Achiro knows that hibernation can only be deactivated with the head's ring, so he tells Futaba to handle the Hazakura battalion until he brings the ring from the old head. On the other side, Misumi sees that there is no electricity, and she starts to feel something is wrong. She tries to contact her siblings, but there was no signal in her phone. Meanwhile, Asano's condition was bad, and he started to feel that he might die somewhere. While searching nearby, Misumi sees a needle which she was going to use to draw her own blood. She remembered that her mom had told her that the head's blood has special powers, but she should use it only to help the people she loves. She draws her blood and gives it to Asano in this hope that he will survive. At that very moment, Yama also arrives there and attacks Misumi, but then Asano regains consciousness and tells Yama not to even touch Misumi. Asano shoots him, but it has no effect on him, and as he starts moving towards them, Asano kicks him. Meanwhile, Asano was feeling something strange. His body was feeling unnecessarily strong and light, and Yama's movements were feeling very slow to him. He lands a powerful punch on Yama, which sends him flying backwards, but then he starts getting a headache. Yama says that Somen is activating his body's cells, but because of this, his brain is being destroyed because Hazakuro kills those people whose bodies cannot handle it. But Misumi hugs him and tells him to remain calm. Asano tells her to leave from here, but Misumi did not want to leave him and says that if something happens to him, she will take her own life so that Tanpoko cannot use her blood, after which she starts telling him how he can control his powers. But Yama pushes her away, and he was about to attack Asano, but Asano blocks his attack and lands such a punch on him that it creates a hole in his stomach. Yama cannot understand why his body is not regenerating, and he falls to the ground. On the other side, Achiro was going towards the forests where he met that same strange man whom he was calling father. Achiro demands the ring back from him, but that man was very happy to see his children safe and sound, and says that Tai has awakened a new power. You knew that Misumi would never give her blood to Asano, so you intentionally injured Asano and planned all this with Tanpoko. But why are you doing this? He says that he just wanted a powerful husband for his daughter, and now because his goal is complete, he starts to leave. Achiro says that he hasn't changed yet and tells him to stay away from Misumi and Asano. He launches a powerful attack on his father, which was cutting everything in the surroundings. Meanwhile, Misumi was happy to see that Asano survived, but she also starts to get worried because she felt her blood could take his life. So Asano hugs her and thanks her for saving his life. But then Sheen interrupts. She tells that she had recovered the emergency hotline so they could talk even without a signal. On the other side, Futaba is now beating up the Italians. Sheen tells Kango to gather all the enemies in one place so that she can capture them together, and he transforms himself into Misumi, making all the people run after him. He herds all the enemies behind him, leading them to Naino, who was acting scared. They all thought that now they would surely capture Misumi, but then Naino punches the ground and leaves from there with Kango. Meanwhile, the entire Hazakura battalion falls into a large pit, and Shiso covers them from above. They start trying to break the ball to get out, but they cannot even launch a tent on it, and Futaba picks them up and starts spinning them around and launches them away like Team Rocket. On the other side, we see that Achiro's attack did not work because his father caught all his wires, and he reminds Achiro that he himself taught him how to fight. But Achiro still catches his father and tells him to return the ring. He says that he is proud of his children, and Achiro takes his ring. Hibernation is deactivated, and everyone was very happy to see the two of them safe and sound, but they cannot understand how Asano is completely fine because his condition was very bad. Then he goes out of control. So Goliath and the two of them together catch him, and Naino says that he is feeling the side effects of Somen. Achiro says that because of this, all the cells in his body have been activated, but controlling them is very difficult. Meanwhile, Asano breaks free from their hold, but Achiro catches him with his wire and gives him Shien's headphones because he thought that hearing Misumi's song would calm his mind. Hearing this, they all start to feel that their big brother has gone crazy. But Achiro wanted to hear Misumi's song even in this situation, and she gets ready to sing a song for Asano, but she was singing so badly that even the nearby animals started to faint. Because of this, Asano regains consciousness and says that he heard such a sound that he thought the world was going to end. She asks Tabachi why he helped Asano, because he enjoys tormenting him. He just felt like it. The next morning, when Asano wakes up, his whole body is aching, and he remembers his fight with Yama. After that, he goes to the restroom where he sees that his eyes still looked different. Meanwhile, Naino comes to Misumi and gives her a recipe book so that she can help Asano recover quickly. After that, Asano also arrives there and says that he has slept enough, but his body is still hurting a lot. So Naino tells him that he should rest more. But Asano says he has to go to school. Misumi tells Naino to go with him. But Asano thinks that because of his body, people will pay too much attention to him. But Naino can change his appearance, and he takes an injection and returns to his normal size. After that, Asano starts going to school with Naino, who tells him that controlling his powers is very difficult. Therefore, he mostly uses his mutated body, and he only uses that drug when he has to go to school. But then Asano sees that his body has started to transform, and Asano starts to worry about him. After that, at school, Asano was with his friends. Then he gets a call from Naino, who tells him to come to the biology lab. When Asano reaches the lab, he sees that Naino is mutating again, and Naino tells him to inject him with a medicine, and after giving the injection, Naino becomes normal again. But then a girl named Sato arrives there and asks Naino if he is sick. She checks his forehead to see if he has a fever, and sees that his temperature is completely normal. But because the girl was so close, his heart starts beating very fast, and the temperature keeps rising. So Sato tells him that he has a cold, and he should go to the infirmary. After she leaves, Naino tells Asano that she is the president of the biology club, but he doesn't like humans, so he should stay away from her. That's all fine, but you're not going to mutate again, are you? Then he sees that Naino is taking pill after pill, but still, he starts to feel unwell, and he reads some strange lines. Asano asks him what he was reading, so Naino tells him that it is his DNA's base sequence. It is the same for all creatures. So reading it makes him feel exactly like a normal person, but now he feels that he has reached his limit, and he was about to inject himself with a medicine that would make his body unstable again. But after this, he will never be able to come to school because this appearance will be gone forever. But Asano knows that he has many friends at his school, and he will have to leave them all. So he stops him and says that he will help him live a normal life. After this, we see Naino, who was in his class, but then his body starts to transform. But at the last moment, Asano saves him, and Naino thanks him for his help. On the other side, Sato returns to the biology lab to feed the animals. But then, her snake comes down and eats a pill that Naino had dropped, because of which it transforms. On the other side, Futaba and Rin were sitting together and they were talking about that same attack, after which Shiso arrives there, who had brought the food made by Misumi. On the other side, Naino thanks Asano for taking care of him, but then he sees the lab animals, and then a girl's scream is heard. Upon arriving there, they see that all the animals have escaped from there. Meanwhile, Naino checks Sato's pulse, and he was happy to see that she was still alive. But then he sees a scale which was quite strange, and upon seeing it, he realizes that Sato's snake must have eaten his drug, and he starts to blame himself for all this. Then Sato regains consciousness, and she starts to leave from there to save her snake, and Asano tells Naino to go after her. So Sato and Naino start searching for the snake together, but then from behind, it attacks them, and Naino sees that the snake is quite confused, and Naino was running away with Sato. But then Sato's foot slips, and because all of this was Naino's fault, he goes towards the snake and lets it bite him. He had transformed his hand because his mutated cells could negate the drug's effect. The snake returns to its normal size. But Naino had disappeared from there, and Sato cannot understand what happened here. On the other side, Asano takes Naino to the roof. Naino's body had become unstable again, so he goes to use the same vaccine because Sato had seen him transforming, and now there is no point in all this. Asano tries to stop him, but Naino pushes him back and says that he cannot control his strength anymore. He was about to inject himself with the vaccine, but Asano stops him and says that he should read those same things again to calm himself, and when Naino reads them, his body becomes normal again, and Asano tells him that he will always help him. After this, Sato also arrives there and tells that she heard all their conversation, and she was surprised to know that Naino can metamorphose like an animal, hearing which the two of them realize that she has drawn her own different meaning. Sato says that Asano is very close to Naino, hearing which they get nervous because no one should find out that they are siblings. But Sato thinks that he wants to join the biology club, so she starts dragging him to fill out the form. But before leaving, Sato tells Naino that he should stay in the club because she needs his help, hearing which Naino becomes happy. Asano and Naino return home, but they see that everyone was lying unconscious, and they also see Rin in front. They ask Misumi what happened here. Misumi tells that she had used Naino's recipe. She thought that Asano would recover quickly with it, but when the others ate it, they all fell unconscious. She thinks that maybe it's just a side effect, and when they wake up, they will be completely fine, but they cannot understand why. Nothing happened to Rin, maybe because he never gets tired. Later, Asano was training with Shinso, but during this, his foot slips, and taking advantage of this opportunity, Shinso defeats him. Summon is going into your hands and eyes, but if you focus on your senses, it will be more effective. After which, he demonstrates how he can do it and starts attacking him very rapidly. You are still not used to your power, so you should not use it for too long. After this, this, Achiro also arrives there and tells Asano that he should use his power with a purpose. This will make him stronger quickly. Shinso gives him a training chance, but Asano thinks that it is too dangerous. Achiro tells them that he is going out of the country for a mission. Then Musumiya arrives there and tells him that she participated in a raffle and won tickets to Angelus Hot Springs. After that, they all go home, where Musumiya tells Asano that the hot spring is for the underworld members. But Achiro was sad because he is the only member of their family who cannot go with them. He tells Musume that he will abandon his mission and go with them. But Futaba hits him on the head and tells him to go on his mission quiet. But Achiro starts crying like a child and says that he has to save Musumi from perverts. But Musumi promises that she will definitely spend time with him next time. After which, happily, Achiro leaves from there so that he can finish his mission quickly. But before leaving, he warns Asano not to bathe with Musumi. Otherwise, he will kill him with his own hands. They all leave for the hot springs, and Shien says that she knows a shortcut. But Shiso gets nervous, and their car falls into a river. Asano thinks that they are all going to die, but Shien transforms the car into a submarine and says that it is impossible to reach that spring by normal means. They reach their destination through a cave, but Asano sees that the whole place is filled with dangerous people. Futaba tells him that he doesn't need to be afraid because fighting is not allowed here. But a man recognizes them, and Shinso remembers that Achiro had beaten him up during a mission. That guy was about to pull out his gun, but then the owner Imo arrives there and reminds him of the rules, after which that guy leaves. Futaba recognizes her and tells her that Achiro is on a mission, so he didn't come with them, and Asano is Musumi's husband. Emma shows them all to their rooms, where Shiso and Kango run inside, and Naino tells Asano that fighting for the window seats is their family tradition. Naino asks Shinso if he can sit on his chair, and Shinso, seeing his cute face, cannot refuse and says that he can sit there as long as he wants. Seeing which, Kango starts making fun of him. Meanwhile, seeing all this, Asano remembers his younger brother who really liked sitting by the window. Hearing this, the three brothers start crying and forcibly make him sit on the chair. After this, we see Musumi, whom Futaba asks if she is going to tell Asano something important. Musumi understands that Futaba already knew everything. Futaba tells her not to worry so much. She thinks that this is the right opportunity and Asano will accept. After this, everyone arrives in the hall for dinner, but that guy says that because of them, his organization was destroyed, and he spills his beer on Futaba's head. But then, Futaba starts laughing and says that the beer tastes very good, and she picks up that guy and starts throwing him around like a pillow. Seeing this, her siblings understand that she is drunk, and Asano takes Musumi and leaves from there, and the other siblings stay there to stop Futaba. Asano takes Musumi to her room, where Musumi tells him that their matter is private, and she calls him to come with her. On the other side, Emma was taking Achiro to the banquet hall, who has also finished his mission because he wanted to protect Musumi. But when they reach the hall, they see that everyone is fighting with each other, and they are surprised to see Achiro there. On the other side, Asano and Musumi were bathing together, and Musumi tells him that they are married, so he shouldn't be so shy, and she tells him that when she was little, she used to bathe with her brothers. Meanwhile, they could still hear the noise, meaning Futaba's alcohol hasn't worn off yet. Asano says that he is having a lot of fun, but Musumi wanted to tell him something, and she stands up, seeing which Asano starts to feel shy. But then, he sees that on her chest, there is a mark. Musumi tells him that Tanpapo had once kidnapped her and tried to take her heart out, because they know that it is filled with salmon, which they wanted to use to create thousands of superhumans. But they knew that many people would suffer because the body has to be weak to accept her blood. Hearing this, Asano understands how he got his powers without any severe side effects. Musumi says that she had no option and she was forced to give him her blood, but she knows that her father did all this because he wanted Asano to also have their family's power. She remembers that she had promised that she would save their help, but she doesn't know why he is behaving in such a strange way. Everything about him is a mystery. Asano thinks that they should meet him so that they can understand him better, but then Shiso falls in, interrupting their talk, and tells them that they should escape from here. Achiro arrives there and tells Asano that he will take his life, but at the last moment, Futaba arrives there and saves him, and now finally her drunkenness was starting to wear off, and Achiro challenges Futaba to a pillow fight. But then the other people surround Achiro from all sides and attack him with pillows, but Achiro alone stops them all. After this, Sheen uses her minigun and starts rapidly shooting pillows at him, but he was blocking them all with his wire. Meanwhile, Kango transforms himself into Musumi. Because of this, Achiro's attention is diverted, and taking advantage of this opportunity, Kango grabs Achiro from behind, and everyone attacks him together. The next morning, we see that they all together defeated Achiro, and they were celebrating because they think their victory will be written in history books. Meanwhile, Oga and Suai are infiltrating a Papo facility, where they see a room that was being used to store Hazakura, but it is completely empty now. But then a bomb explodes there, because of which the entire facility facility blows up in the explosion, and Makoto was watching all this from a distance. Meanwhile, Uga and Sui managed to survive the explosion, and they think that the information they had received was old. On the other side, Aika was telling Misumi that Hinagi is helping in their investigation, but they still haven't been able to find out anything about Tanpopo. They have only found out that Tanpopo regularly transports something, and they think it is Hazakura. Meanwhile, in a train, Misumi's father is sitting with Makoto. He opens a box of steamed dumplings, but its smell was feeling very strange to everyone. Meanwhile, Asano is working as a porter on that train, but he is having a lot of difficulty doing his job. He can't even open the train's windows, and he sits on the train's roof to take a short break. Meanwhile, he didn't see anyone suspicious on the entire train, and he is also gathering information about Misumi's father, but he is not finding anything because officially his father is dead and his name is Momo. Then the train suddenly shakes. Because of this, his revolver falls under the train, which makes him sad because Shiso had specially modified it for him. After that, Asano comes inside the train where a girl was hanging out of the window, so he tells her to come inside. Meanwhile, that girl returns his revolver to him and says that she saw him dropping it, and while trying to catch it, the window broke. She tells her name is Yuki Shirai, but then a passenger starts shouting for Asano, who was shouting at her because his seat's window wouldn't open and the entire train is filled with smoke. Then Asano realizes that the smoke is not coming out from where it should, and also the passengers are behaving in a strange way. When he checks the air quality, he finds out that the entire train is filled with poison gas. He goes to the dining area and breaks all the windows there with his revolver, because of which all the passengers start running away from there. And Asano sees that the air quality has improved, but Asano sees that some passengers are still sitting there, and they tell that they were using an odorless gas, who are actually Makoto and Momo. His siblings had told him Momo's description, because of which he recognizes him too. So he introduces himself to his father-in-law, and he was welcoming them very nicely. On the other side, Shin says that she was looking for Asano, but she found a picture of Momo and Makoto on a train. Misumi starts to worry about him because they couldn't contact him. Then Futaba gets a call from Rin, who was telling her about some case, but Futaba says that they are all busy. On the other side, in the train, Shirai also reaches the three of them, and Momo suddenly comes behind her and starts telling her how to hold a revolver. Asano tries to shoot him, but Shirai catches it with her hair, and Makoto tells him that she is 100% compatible with Hazakura, and he wants to collect more data by making them fight. They had deliberately given all the siblings wrong information so that they would all separate. After this, Makoto leaves from there, and Momo tells him that he should let Misumi's blood guide him. Makoto asks him what he wants to do, but Momo doesn't answer him. Makoto says that he is jealous of Momo because he has someone because of whom he can do whatever he wants. Shirai helps the two of them escape from there and starts trying to crush Asano with her hair, but Asano activates his powers and breaks free from her hold. He starts moving towards Shirai, dodging all her attacks, but she catches him and throws him to the other side of the train. She says that he can never win because he is still a novice, and tells that she got these powers 10 years ago when her health was very bad, but because of Hazakura, she is completely fine now, but she has had to pay a price for it too, because at 100% capacity, Hazakura can only sustain a body for 10 years, and when she dies, it will be very painful. Asano asks her why she is doing all this. Shirai says because she wants to live. Tanpopo helps those people who are weak, and they are ready to do anything to help them reach their goal. She tells Asano that he has to stop the train, otherwise Popo will escape everything. After which, their fight starts again, during which Asano grabs her and throws her towards the train's roof, after which he was about to shoot her with his revolver, but Shirai saves herself using her hair and says that her hair blocks electricity, so he changes his fighting style and transforms his revolver into a sword. Shirai attacks him, but Asano keeps moving forward, cutting her hair. He was about to stun her with his weapon, but Shirai again pushes him back with her hair and says that no matter how much he cuts her hair, it will grow back, after which she starts attacking him, which he was blocking, and during this, he notices that she is trying to tell him something through the movement of her hair. She was making shapes of words with her hair because she didn't want Makoto to find out that she was going to tell him the truth, and she says that Asano's family was killed because of her. After this, we see a scene from the past where Shirai was in the hospital, and Asano's parents come to meet her, who had come to wish her a happy birthday and gave her earrings that looked like the sun as a gift. They tell her to keep fighting because she is finally going to be released from the hospital. After this, Makoto also arrives there, and Asano's father thanks him because only because of his his clinical trial could Shirai recover. After this, Asano's parents leave from there, and Makoto sees that they had given a gift to Shirai, seeing which he thinks that they must consider Shirai like family. Sometime later, Shirai was being discharged from the hospital, and Asano's parents tell her to enjoy her life. But one evening, Shirai returns to the hospital, where Makoto tells her that her progress is going very well, after which he takes her to the morgue and tells her that thousands of subjects died within 2 years of taking Hazakura. But perhaps its side effects suit her illness, and that is why she is still alive even with 100% Hazakura. Hearing all this, Shirai gets scared, but Makoto says that his research is what saved her life, and it can also save other people like her. Shirai asks him about Asano's parents. Makoto says that he removed them from the path because he didn't want the public to know about his research. Such things require sacrifices, and he welcomes Shirai to Tenpopo. Later, Shirai tells him that GPS trackers have been placed inside her earrings. Using this GPS, he keeps an eye on the other 10 Popo members. Shirai feels that she has no right to wear them because Asano's parents were killed because of her, and she tells Asano to find a clue that will help him protect his siblings. After which, Shirai throws him out of the train, and Asano remembers that once his mom had saved a girl from breaking. That girl's father thanks his mom and apologizes for ruining their family time, but Asano's mom says that she is a nurse, so saving people's lives is common for her. Asano loved his family very much, and he was blaming himself for their death because he wasn't strong enough to save them. Meanwhile, Shirai says that she has to go back now. But then Asano attacks her. On the other side, Makoto was watching that Asano's stats are increasing. Momo tells him that Asano has lost control of himself. Summon depends on emotions, and because of Asano's emotions, it has gone out of his control. And if it keeps increasing like this, his body will be completely destroyed in some time. He keeps attacking Shirai like a madman, but none of it affects Shirai, and she catches him and says that she has collected all the data she needed to collect, and she was about to kill him. Asano feels that he couldn't do anything for his family, but then he remembers Misumi, and he must protect her from Tanpopo, no matter what. After which, he grabs Shirai's hair and breaks it with his own hands. But Shirai thinks that he cannot defeat her because he has no control over his powers. But then, Asano cuts his own leg, and Momo tells Makoto that he is reducing the amount of somen in his body by drawing out blood. He wanted to save his new family, and he gets ready to use his ultimate technique. He starts moving towards Shirai, and she tries to stop him with all her might. But Asano's attack overpowers her, during which her earrings also fall down. Shirai feels that she has lost everything, and she remembers how Asano's parents used to take care of her. But because of her desire to live, they lost their lives. She was about to fall, but Asano catches her and puts an earring back on her. Asano tells her that his parents used to tell him about Shirai, and he does not hold her responsible for his parents' death because Tanpopo were using her, and he thanks her because she is helping him save his new family. After this, she dies, and Asano was about to go to stop the train, but then someone attacks him, which was done by a girl, and her name is Aya, after which a guy named Mizuki arrives there who tells the girl that she should have attacked the head. Makoto had sent the two of them there to bring back Shirai's body. He starts choking Asano because they no longer had any use for him, but then Rin and Futaba arrive there to save him. Aya attacks Rin, but she blocks her attack and pushes her back again. But at the last moment, Mizuki catches her and tells her to focus on the mission. He knows that Rin and Futaba are very good in hand-to-hand combat, but against his poison powers, they cannot last. But Rin throws Futaba so hard that she cuts through the poison and reaches the train and destroys the entire train just by attacking with her hands, and she saves Asano. Because of this, Mizuki escapes from there with Shirai. Mizuki takes Shirai to Makoto, who praises them. Aya thinks that Shirai's death must have been very painful, but Mizuki tells her to look at Shirai's face, which looks completely peaceful. Meanwhile, Rin felt that they didn't get any information about Tanpopo, but Futaba is sure that Asano has done what he came here to do. Agan was telling them that they have found the location of Tenpopo, which is on Skeleton Island, and they were able to find out all this because of Shirai's earrings. There is a huge stock of Hazakura on that island, and they think that they are planning something, and that is why they are going to attack that island in a week. They all decide to help Ren because they will need more people's help to defeat Tanpopo. After this, Asano was thinking that he still has a lot to learn. Then Ben arrives there, who had come there to train Asano. They reach the training area, where he tells Asano that he used to train here with Momo. Ben shows him his powers and says that he still has more to learn about Somen, because right now he is only using it to make his body stronger. With its help, he can control even the speed and weight of a bullet. bullet, and Momo had used this technique on Asano. Momo's bullets are very fast, therefore he is giving Asano training to counter bullets. Then suddenly Ben shoots him, but Asano sees that he is still alive, and Ben says that he had reduced the bullet's force, after which he keeps shooting at Asano continuously and tells him to use his sword to deflect his bullets. So Asano tries to block it, but the bullet hits his boot directly. Ben says that he is going to train him for a week, and during this time, he must get used to his powers, so he is not going to show him any mercy. On the other side, Achiro was teaching Rin and Seiji how to use his weapon, but because of this, Rin's bandages get cut, and we see that she has the Ton Popo symbol on her hand. Actually, when she was a child, Ten Popo had kidnapped her and performed many experiments on her body, and that is why Rin wants revenge on them, and that is the reason she started Hinagiku. Meanwhile, on the other side, Naino also sees the same symbol on Oga and Sui, because they were also test subjects. But Rin had rescued the two of them from Ten Popo, but the other children who were rescued with them could not survive because of Hazakura's side effects. Naino says that he has analyzed their blood, and he might be able to fix the damage that Hazakura has done to their bodies, and he thanks them for being a part of his research. Sui says that once they had tried to kill Naino, but Naino didn't care because killing him is not that easy. On the other side, Shanpopo was investigating, and Kengo has gone to meet a guy named Kengo Ikasuka, who is working on a new project for Kengo. On the other side, Shinjo is crying while making a weapon. The blueprints for this weapon were given to him by his parents, but before they could complete it, they died. Seeing him sad, Aika brings him his favorite sweets. On the other side, Futaba is with Suki, where many people come to attack her at once, but she grinds the tea leaves so badly that a storm arises there. Futaba asks him why the other members of the Spy Association haven't joined them here. Sukyu says that all the gold rank members are busy, but he wants to help them because he is excited to work with Asano. After this, we see Asano whose condition is bad. Meanwhile, Ben says that his training isn't progressing at all, so he decides to change his training method. He tells Asano that Somen takes the body to a blooming state and every person awakens different powers. After that, he shows Asano his power. With it, he can extract his body even from a small space. He can also apply his powers to a bullet, so when he shoots the ground, water starts coming out from there. He explains that because of his powers, the bullet tore through the ground and reached the water. The time has come to teach you blooming. But then suddenly, he starts doing that strict couple dance. You must be aware of every single part of your body. Just then, Bane shoots him, but this time, Asano is able to deflect his bullet. This makes Bane understand that he has come very close to the blooming state, and he was about to end today's training right there. But Asano wants to train even more. Just then, suddenly, Bane shoots Masumi, and he had increased his bullet's power several times over. But despite this, Asano blocks it, meaning he has fully awakened his powers. Meanwhile, Bane knows that his power is hardening because the power that comes in the blooming state depends on a person's personality, and because Asano doesn't want to kill anyone in any fight, that's why he got defensive powers. And to awaken these, he had shot Masumi. But Asano gets angry and says that he should not do such a thing again. Hey, what is there to get angry about? I am doing all this for my grandchild. And Masumi tells him that she was never in any danger. Because of this, poor Asano is left stunned, and when Keko finds out about all this, she beats up both of them for putting Asano in such a state and punishes Bane, saying that she won't hug him for a week. And she starts taking Masumi to a secret area that can only be accessed with the head's ring. Bane starts running after them, so Keiko tells Asano to hold him here. Keiko takes Masumi to the lowest part of the mansion, which is the head's chamber. She tells Masumi about the Book of Birds, which contains all the secrets of their family, but she has never been able to read it because she doesn't know how to unlock it, and they cannot force it open either, because if they do that, the entire mansion will be destroyed. It was designed like this to protect their family's secrets. If the world finds out about it, chaos will erupt everywhere, and Keiko asks her if she is ready to sacrifice everything to protect it. Masumi says that she is ready to do anything for her family. At that moment, Asano arrives there with Bane, whom Asano had managed to catch with great difficulty. After this, Asano hugs Masumi and says that he will become even stronger so that Masumi won't need to sacrifice anything. 1 week later, the whole family gathers for a party where, because of the cherry blossom tree, Asano's powers were reacting, and Keiko tells him that this tree has been here since their family's first head, and there is Somen inside it too. According to tradition, they gather here before any important event, and she gives him some omelets to eat. But then Bane starts moving towards Keiko, like a crab, which scares Asano, and he realizes that Tsukio is standing behind him. He says he finished his mission very quickly because he wanted to spend time with Asano. He hugs him and says that he made omelets for him too. But just then, Ayaka arrives and stops Asano from eating those omelets because they might be poisoned, and she tells him to eat the omelet she made, and Tsuki tells her to stay away because his omelet is tastier than hers. But just then, Sue arrives, and he had also brought omelets. Then Then everyone surrounds Asano and starts asking him whose omelet he will eat, but he stuffs all the omelets into his mouth at once and says they were all tasty. On the other hand, we see Akoto with the remaining 10 Popo members, and they were celebrating because they are going to launch the seed sowing project tomorrow. Numa says that his chicken is still raw, so a girl named Akai uses her powers to cook his chicken. Makoto says his chicken is also raw, but instead of cooking his chicken, Akai cooks him. Seeing this, Ya goes to help Makoto, but she accidentally slips and smashes cake all over his face. On the other hand, Bane tells Asano that this concert is also a family tradition. After this, Shion, along with Misumi and Keikos, starts her performance, and Bane and Ichiro were dancing with glow sticks for them. After this, Naino and Goliath also join their performance and start dancing with them. But while performing, Shion gets embarrassed because she had to perform in front of so many people. After this, it was Shinsho's turn to perform, but instead of singing, Shinsho starts screaming there. After all the performances ended, Misomi tells them that they will start their mission tomorrow. They have 3 goals. The first goal is to arrest Makoto and take back all the Hazakura. The second objective is to free all the test subjects in the hideouts. And their last goal is to find out Momo's true intentions, because they still don't know what he actually wants. She tells everyone to complete their mission, but just then, Ichiro kidnaps Asano. He takes him to a grave and tells him that it is his mother's, but they still haven't found her body, and he thinks Tungpopo is using her body to create Hazakura. We are also going to complete a secret mission where we have to recover Mom's body and give her a proper burial. I don't want the others to find out about this because it will cause them great pain. He tells Asano that if something happens to him, he should complete this mission in his place. But just then, Futaba arrives and starts dragging him away to play sumo with her. The next day, Cha tells Makoto that intruders have arrived. On the other hand, Keiko was driving their family car. From there, sitting on Goliath, everyone jumps for their mission, and Chibaki tells everyone that they will reach the island in 1 minute. Makoto doesn't understand how they found out about their hideout, so Momo says that they must have found out from Shiro. He knows what happened that day. Makoto asks him why he didn't tell them if he knew, to which Momo says he didn't tell because they never asked. On the other hand, Shion says that they have all entered Tungpopo's wireless range, so she can access their secret ignition. Makoto is inside their base's nerve center, and they want to use Gulal to destroy the entrance. But just then, Cha updates the system. Because of this, Shion loses her access. On the other hand, Hanuma tells Makoto that Akai has gone to guard the entrance, but Makoto isn't worried about her at all because she is the strongest in their team. Akai attacks them, but Futaba starts controlling her flames with just 1 finger, and with an explosion, destroys that entrance. Everyone enters the sibling space, where Shion tells Naino and Kango to rescue the test subjects. Meanwhile, Asano was going towards the nerve center with the others. Futaba sees that their reinforcements have arrived, so she says to surround the island from all sides. But just then, Akai attacks Goliath, and Futaba sees that she has recovered so quickly. So Futaba tells Goliath to clear the path for the others and that she will fight Akai alone. Akai attacks Futaba with flames, but it has no effect on her, and Makoto tells Cha to call the reinforcements here. But he can't do that because Keiko was destroying all their equipment. Hanuma thinks he might have to fight, but he says that if things get too dangerous, he will abandon everything and run away from here. On the other hand, Asano was fighting Makoto's men with the others. Just then, black spikes emerge from all around the ground, which are the powers of the 10 Papo member Kurosawa, who, upon arriving, attacks Asano directly. So Shinsho starts firing continuously at him, but his bullets do nothing to Kurosawa. But despite this, he tells the others to leave. He can handle this alone. Shinsho sees that Kurosawa's body is made of steel, so his guns won't work on him. On the other hand, Toba tells Akai to surrender because their target is only Makoto. But Akai says she has nothing to lose, and she activates her blooming state and attacks Futaba with a powerful heat wave. It seems she will deflect that attack, but because of it, her gloves start burning, forcing her to throw them away. Akai says she did the right thing because her flames cannot be extinguished. After that, she starts attacking Futaba with many heat waves, but she was manipulating the air around her to block all her attacks. But Akai thinks she can defeat Futaba by attacking even more, and she starts attacking Futaba even more. Because of this, an explosion occurs there. On the other hand, Makoto was remembering that he was once an ordinary high schooler. He had found it by hacking medical records. After this, we see Makoto in a flashback, watching Akai's house burning. He sees a strange man there and thinks he is the one who set his house on fire. Makoto saves Akai before the firefighters arrive and starts performing experiments on her, using pieces of her siblings to aid her recovery. When Akai regains consciousness, she searches for the man who set their house on fire and burns him to death. In the present, Akai sees that her attack had no effect on Futaba. She tells Futaba that she hasn't used her full power yet, and if she doesn't kill her, she will take her life. But Futaba says she doesn't want to kill her, and she activates her blooming state. Akai remembers that Makoto had told her that she had had mastered the blooming state, but she is still nothing compared to the real siblings. So if they release their full power, she should run away from there. But she wanted to see how strong Futaba is, and she attacks Futaba. But Futaba uses her wind to extinguish her flame. She explains that because of her powers, she can nullify any attack with her fingers. But just then, Akai releases her full power and attacks her. But Futaba nullifies this attack with great ease as well. Makoto tells Akai that her body has reached its limit, and if she doesn't stop, she will burn to ashes. But Akai doesn't care. She wanted to kill Futaba, and she starts releasing her powers, but her body reaches its limit. Because of this, an explosion occurs there. But at the last moment, Futaba arrives and extinguishes the fire. She tells Akai that she cares about her and uses a wind attack to remove all the fire from her. She knows that Akai had lost everything, and she tells her about Asano, who continued to move forward even after losing everything. After that, Akai faints. Futaba tells her siblings that she has defeated her, but she also warns them because she had detected something like blooming. Meanwhile, Makoto says that even if their hideout is destroyed, it doesn't matter because it won't stop their seed sowing project. After this, we see Masumi's mother's body, which has been kept frozen. Next, Shion tells Futaba that she has found the hideout's passports, and she will use them to help her siblings rescue the test subjects there. Meanwhile, Naino and Kengo are confronted by many enemies, but Naino uses tear gas to knock them all out. But just then, the entire place gets covered in ice, and Hanuma arrives there. Kengo uses his new weapon, which allows him to make many copies of himself. Actually, Toda had made balloon puppets for him, but Kengo used his own cleverness to turn them into his clones. Kengo surrounds Hanuma from all sides with his clones, but he destroys all the clones with his ice spikes. After that, he tells Makoto that they are heading towards the research area. Hearing this, Makoto understands that they are trying to rescue the test subjects, and he thinks about having Kurosawa kill them all. And he tells Hanuma to secure the power source. Hearing this, Hanuma leaves there. On the other hand, Faya was telling Makoto not to kill the test subjects, but Mizoki stops her, and Makoto gives Kurosawa the order to kill them. And as soon as he gets the order, Kurosawa starts killing everyone in his path, even if they are his own people. Kurosawa is not afraid of death, nor does he feel anything about killing people. So whenever he attacks someone, his intention is to kill them. A man attacks him with a rocket launcher, but it does nothing to him, and Kurosawa kills him too. Shinsho attacks him with his new weapon, and he had now figured out that he is using an organic alloy. With its help, he can change his shape as he wishes, but he still thinks he can defeat him, and he attacks him many times. But Kurosawa regenerates again, and walls appear there, separating the two. Shion says she had to do this because Kurosawa is not the right opponent for him, and he should help the others. But Shinsho wants to defeat him, even if he has to activate his blooming for it. Shion reminds him that he hasn't used his blooming state for many years, but Shinsho wants to defeat Kurosawa with his own hands. Hearing this, Ayaka starts cheering for him because she knows he has made up his mind, and she tells them that Shinsho has created a formless alloy that is very difficult to use, but it is the perfect weapon for Shinsho. Shinsho attacks him and shatters him to pieces, but his body regenerates again, and he covers the entire area with his alloy and attacks Shinsho from all sides. Shinsho tries to save himself by creating a shield, but he gets injured. After this, we see a scene from the past, when Shinsho first awakened his blooming state, but because of it, he gets very scared because controlling his powers is difficult. Shinsho's mother tells him that he is scared because he doesn't want to hurt others with his power, and that he is a very good person. In the present, Shinsho plunges his weapon into the ground. This destroys Kurosawa's alloy. After that, he activates his blooming. He converts his weapon into a drill and attacks Kurosawa, but he blocks his attack. Just then, Kurosawa sees that his body is no longer regenerating. Shinsho tells him that he knows his alloy's weakness. If his cells are destroyed, he cannot regenerate, and his blooming ability's name is destruction. With it, he destroyed Kurosawa's cells. Kurosawa starts moving towards Shinsho, but he was continuously attacking him, and now Kurosawa was having trouble defending himself. But just then, Kurosawa gets a chance to attack. But in return for this attack, Shinsho thanks him. After that, he attacks and cuts off his head. Shinsho tells him that he was about to lose control, and he didn't want to kill him. But because of his attack, he was able to control his blooming. He tells everyone that he has cleared the path. Just then, some men start moving towards him, but as soon as they reach him, their heads explode. Makoto didn't want any more information about them to leak, so he activated everyone's self-destruction chip. Chaka says he didn't need to do that, but Makoto thinks it was necessary, and they should just focus on their plan being successful. Everyone was confused about why their enemies self-destructed. Meanwhile, Shion had understood everything, and she tells them that he is ready to do anything for his plan. He doesn't care what happens to his hideout or his people. He found a file about the seed sowing project in the lowest part of the hideout. There are 2,000 tons of hazakura there, which can affect billions of people. The storage area is surrounded by explosives on all sides, which will detonate as soon as the tanks are full. Because of this, Hazakura will mix into all the oceans and reach coastal areas, where it will ruin the lives of countless people. Xian says they only have 30 minutes, and she starts trying to hack the detonation system using her brainwaves. But just then, errors appear before her, and she sees that the power output of her hacking system is decreasing. Cha knew that she was hacking the system using the hideout's power source, so he had Hanuma shut it down. But just then, Kongo activates a power source. Hanuma tries to kill him, but he was actually just his clone. After that, Kango uses his other clones to activate all the power systems and tells Xian to focus on hacking. Meanwhile, to save Kango from Hanuma, Xian first turns off the lights. But despite this, he continues to attack Kango. Kango doesn't understand how he can see in the dark. We find out that Hanuma had activated his blooming, and Cha is telling him the location of Kango's clones. Because of this, Kango's clones keep decreasing, and Xian starts to worry about him. Cha thinks they are losing because they underestimated him. Next, we find out that Cha was locked in a mental asylum, and because he couldn't talk to anyone, no doctor paid any attention to him. But Makoto knew he had a brilliant mind and asks him if he wants to join Tenpapo. On the other hand, Hanuma was about to kill Kengo, but just then he fills the entire area with smoke and activates another power source, where he asks Hanuma what is happening there. But he can't tell which is the real Hanuma, because his screen was showing many Hanumas. Meanwhile, the real Hanuma is confused because Cha is giving him weird orders. Meanwhile, Cha realizes that Xian has hacked their transmission. Next, we find out that when Xian turned off the lights, Kongo had changed his clones into Hanumas and started sending useless information to Cha. Because of this, Cha cannot communicate with Hanuma. Meanwhile, with 100% power, Xian activates her blooming state. After that, Kongo also enters his blooming state and explains that his power allows him to empathize with anyone he is looking at. He copies Hanuma's eyes and says that his real name is Ryo, and he is wearing a jacket given by his grandmother, whose name was Haku. His parents had abandoned him, because of which he started living on the streets. After this, we see a scene from the past, where Hanuma was stealing Haku's food. Because of this, she gets angry and tells him to leave her territory, but he says he is just a guest for a few days. Anyway, he likes this place because warm air is coming from the building, so an old lady like her should leave. But one day, it starts snowing heavily, and he didn't have Haku. Because of the extreme cold, Hanuma starts to feel that he will die. Sometime later, when he opens his eyes, he sees that Haku had given him her jacket, which saved him, but she had died. Next, Kongo was saying that Makoto found him in that same alley. Hearing all this, Hanuma gets angry and attacks him. But Kengo says that when the soul wavers, the blooming state also weakens. Haku gave her life for you. How long will you keep blaming yourself and being sad? Hearing all this, Hanuma's will to fight just vanishes. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Cha felt as if someone was watching him, and Xian tells him that she can control the entire hideout in her blooming state, after which she self-destructs the entire system. Asano and Achiro reach the deepest part of the hideout, where Makoto was standing before them, who tries to provoke Asano. But Achiro knew that all of this was his trick, and if Makoto is damaged even slightly, then this hideout will explode. Makoto says that he is ready to sacrifice everything for his project, and if they don't do something soon, Nano will be killed. After this, we see Nano, who was helping the test subjects, escape from there. But then Aya comes and attacks her, after which Misuki arrives there and says that no one is going to escape from here because he had already filled the path with his poison. But that poison was not working on Nano. But Misuki thinks that Aya is so powerful that she can defeat Nano alone. Nano tells them that they have no need to fight for Makoto because he can give them a body that does not depend on Hazakura, and he will also help them live a normal life. But Misuki says that they have no one to go back to, and his family died because of a strange disease which was caused by a chemical factory. All the villagers together filed a case against that chemical factory owner, but because the government was supporting them, their case yielded no result. Even the media was reporting that the townspeople were greedy and they were doing all this just for money. After this, due to grief and sickness, Misuki was also about to die, but Makoto experimented on him and saved him too. Misuki tells Nano that he cannot save them and he goes to kill him too. Asano starts hearing Nano's screams, and Makoto was still telling him that if he didn't do something quickly, he would be killed. But Asano reminds him that his fight is not just with him. On the other hand, Oga and Sui come to save Nano, and Seiji was also fighting Makoto's men and says that along with Hina, Geigo, and the Spy Association, the police have also arrived here. Aya starts fighting with Oga and Sui and says that Makoto is not perfect, but she won't let them take his home away from him. Nano activates his blooming state, because of which he returns to his normal size, and there were strange orbs around him that could counteract any kind of poison. I had seen the test subjects' reports. Makoto ruined all your lives because you guys started relying on Hazakura instead of adapting to the situation. He uses his ability to detoxify Misuki, which causes all his poison to vanish. Meanwhile, Aya suddenly falls to the ground while fighting, and when Nano comes to her and checks her, he finds out that her small body can cannot handle the Hazakura. Nano tries to save her using his ability, but her condition keeps getting worse. Then Misuki comes there and transfers his Hazakura into her. Seeing this, Nano is shocked, because Misuki's entire body depends on Hazakura. But Misuki says that Aya reminds him of his daughter. We find out that Aya's mother used to beat her a lot, and when Misuki found out about it, he killed her mother. After which, Aya was raised with the other test subjects, where Makoto saw that she was handling the Haza well. But there, a child was not showing good results, so Makoto decides to kill him. I know that Makoto is dangerous. That's why I have always protected her from him, even if I had to scare her. You take good care of her. Aya understands that Misuki is about to die, and she tells him that she never feared him and asks him not to leave her. But Misuki's body ends right there, and Nano tells Asano that he will continue to save the remaining subjects. On the other hand, Shan says that she has unlinked the detonation system from Makoto, so Asano shoots him with his pistol. But despite that, he was standing and he was about to activate a switch. But then Achiro cuts his hand and then shreds his body to pieces. But Achiro tells Asano that this is not over yet. When Shion investigated about him, she found out that his records are older than the war, meaning his age is more than 100 years. His body regenerates, after which he activates his blooming, which, upon seeing, Asano realizes that he is the real one. Makoto reveals that he found out about their family during the Second World War, because the military wanted to use them as weapons, so they had Makoto investigate them. But before his research was completed, the war ended and his research was hidden. He thinks the world is not fair, because the weak can do nothing against the powerful. So he created Hazakura, which gives everyone an equal chance to gain power. He cuts off his finger and throws it, which turns into a large monster, because his blooming ability allows him to store the DNA of his test subjects, enabling him to create a monster whenever he wants. After which, he starts to leave after activating the detonation himself, and when Asano goes to stop him, the monster appears before him. But Envy Richiro saves him, and he tries to kill that monster with his next attack, but it does no damage to it. After that, he wraps his wires around Asano and throws Asano forward with so much force that it creates a hole in that monster's body. Achiro tells Asano to stop Makoto, and after defeating this monster, he will reach him. Asano says that he is going to reach the deepest chamber, and Shion tells him that she will deactivate the detonation within 5 minutes, and as soon as the system is deactivated, Asano must destroy those containers, because upon contact with air, the Hazakura will become useless. Makoto was activating the detonation system, but then Asano arrives there and stops him, but Makoto stops his vital organs. But despite this, Asano does not back down, so Makoto activates his blooming state, which starts to react with Asano's eyes, because of which Asano starts seeing visions of the past. Makoto was in his lab, which the military was trying to destroy because they wanted to hide their war crimes. He was actually experimenting on a woman who wanted his experiments to be successful because she wanted to be reborn as a normal human again. Because the attention she was getting because of her family, she didn't like it. We find out that her name is Tsubami, and she is the first head of the Masumi family who is ready to sacrifice all her descendants' lives so that she can live a normal life. Then Asano regains consciousness and Makoto starts choking him, and Asano asks him about the visions. Makoto says that their eyes were resonating with each other, and Tsubomi has a special goal for which she needs the blood of her descendants. And now technology has advanced so much that he can help her, and he just needs to capture one more descendant. But then Asano shreds him to pieces with his sword. I still don't know a lot of things, but I know that you are after Masumi, so I must stop you right here. But as Makoto was regenerating, Asano's body starts to react, and he reveals that when he stopped him, he had injected a little of his blood into his body. He tells Asano that the seed sowing project will improve people's lives because they won't depend on society as much. After this, he shows Asano visions of the people who suffered because of the Masumi family, and says that he is also a victim of them because he lost his family because of them. Due to so much information, he faints. After this, in a past scene, we see that soldiers have reached Makoto's lab who will hand over Tsubomi to their enemies so that higher-ranking officers are not punished for war crimes, and because his project was top secret, they will burn him along with his lab. But Makoto says that he won't let them take Tsubami away, and then an explosion occurs there in which all people die. Somehow Makoto had survived, and he sees that Tsubami is completely safe, and he tells her that she can go wherever she wants. Tsubami asks him why he risked his life just to save her. Makoto says he doesn't have a good reason. In the village where he lived, everyone died because of the Spanish flu, so he became a doctor, but his job became one where he had to kill others for research. He thinks that if all people were like Tsubami, then the world would perhaps be better. But now, because he is about to die, he will never get to see that, and he tells her to leave the island. But then, Tsubami gives him her powers and says that she will show him a world where all people will be like her. In the present, Makoto tells Asano that he created Tempo with Tsubami so that he could fulfill their dream. There was no strength left in in Asano's body. Then his ring starts to glow, and so does Somi's. She tells Asano not to give up and reveals that the cherry blossom rings allow them to feel each other's heartbeats, and she can send her blood through that ring, which will awaken her powers within him. Makoto attacks Asano, but then his blooming activates and he blocks his attack. He destroys his hand with his sword, and with his next attack, he destroys all the containers, because of which all the Hazakura starts to fall to the ground. Asano thinks they have won, but then he sees that Makoto had absorbed all the Hazakura, and now he just needs to self-destruct to complete his project. Asano tries to stop him, but Makoto pushes him back very easily. But at that moment, the other siblings also arrive there, and Shion tells them all that she has stored Hazakura in her shoulder. Meanwhile, Achiro had figured out that Asano was affected by blooming resonance, so he tells the others not to use their blooming state. The first to attack are Shinjo and Futaba, who create an opening for Kango, who creates his clones that work like drills. Makoto thinks all of this is useless, but Nano starts releasing poison, which was going inside through the holes that Kango had created, and because of its effect, Makoto couldn't even move from his spot. After this, Achiro and Futaba together perform a powerful attack on Makoto, but it has no effect on him, which shocks even Shin. Then Asano sees something glowing on Makoto's body, and he calls out to Achiro, who was just watching him. Then Shion tells them that Makoto is about to explode, but Achiro says that he will finish him with his next move, and tells the others to use the Sakura formation, where Asano will act as their axis. The siblings think it's dangerous given his condition, but they still proceed. Futaba pushes Asano forward, where Makoto tries to stop him, but Achiro uses his wires to propel him forward even faster, and Asano moves forward, cutting through Makoto. Meanwhile, Kango makes his clones look like Asano, which go to Makoto and explode, and Shinjo starts destroying the ground with his weapon, and Futaba starts throwing the debris towards Makoto with the help of wind. Seeing this, Makoto smiles because this wasn't going to harm him, but Asano is also going hidden among those debris. Because of so many debris, Makoto doesn't notice him, and Asano goes straight inside the ground. Achiro says that the Sakura formation is used to destroy underground bunkers, and this idea was Asano's because he had figured out that Makoto was hiding something beneath him. Asano reaches a bunker where he sees Rei's body, but there were strange glowing threads around it. When Asano touches one thread, he feels strange, after which he hears Makoto's voice, who tells him that this is crystallized somen, which is connected to his body, giving him the power to contain the Hazakura. But if Asano removes it, then his body will be destroyed, and there will be an explosion that will kill Asano instantly. But Asano grabs those threads and thinks about exceeding his limits for Musume, and removes those threads from Rei, causing a huge explosion there. But because of his blooming ability, Asano survives. Shion sees that Makoto's Hazakura levels are decreasing very rapidly, and he cannot maintain his body, so he starts to self-destruct with his remaining strength. But Futaba uses her blooming ability to start sealing the explosion's energy, and Nano starts to crystallize the Hazakura inside Makoto's body right there. And Kango uses his blooming ability to reduce Makoto's somen output, after which Shinjo wraps his weapon around him, and Achiro had inserted his wires into various places inside Makoto's body, because of which his cells were ready for his next attack. Then Asano arrives there and summons lightning, because of which the cells in Makoto's body start to be destroyed one by one. He realizes that he is not going to survive. Then he hears Tsubami's voice, who says that his plan didn't work because he is too kind. She thanks him for his research and says that she will give it to someone else so that it is not wasted, and the 100 years they spent together were very good for her. After which, she says goodbye to him, and Makoto falls to the ground. Sechiro says that all the enemies of the hideout have lost, so everyone starts to celebrate, and Achiro starts to take Rei's body from there so that he can bury her properly. After this, we see Momo, who is about to leave the island, but then Bane arrives there. Who knew that he had Rei's heart in his suitcase? Bane says to hand over the heart to him, but Momo refuses, so Bane shoots him, but Momo uses his ability to stop his bullet, but because of its shockwave, the bridge behind him breaks. He is impressed by Bane's powers and says that his ability could not completely absorb the power of his bullet, but then he disappears from there. After this, the officials arrest Makoto. Meanwhile, the other members of the Tenpopo have been kept under observation. After this, Misumi was walking in the forest, where she sees Asano near their mother's grave, so she tries to surprise him, but Asano says he had already seen her. Misumi says she can feel her mother's blood, so she knows she is buried here. But why didn't Asano tell the others about his secret mission? We find out that the siblings had found out, so Aichiro tries to explain to them, but before hearing anything, Futaba starts beating him up. Asano says that they still don't know anything about Momo, and he promises that he will investigate more. The next day, Asano sees that Misumi had worn her wedding dress, and Kango makes him wear a suit and boots too, and Futaba tells him that it is now time for the wedding. After this, everyone was seated in the reception area, where Futaba thanks them for coming. Asano thinks this wedding is very strange, so Misumi tells him that they are holding holding this event to introduce the new head and her husband to their clients. And most people here are from the underworld. Everyone suddenly decided to do this because they have just returned from a successful mission. The world's oldest spy comes towards Asano, but then he attacks him, which Asano barely manages to touch. After that, the spy reveals his true form, which was actually Bane. Keiko says that they have come here to congratulate him with the intention of killing him, hearing which, Asano gets confused and Ichiro tells him about their family tradition, where all of them will try to kill him to test him, and Bane says that he and Misumi could be killed during the wedding, hearing which, Asano gets nervous. But Ichiro says that he will save Misumi, but there will be no one to save Asano. But then, Rei tells Ichiro to stop, and we see that Rei had made the wedding letter when they were children. Ichiro asks her why she told him to stop. Rei says that he loves Misumi too much. After this, we see Futaba, who was taking care of Misumi, and Ichiro was pestering like a child to carry Misumi, and Rei was trying to calm them down. Remembering her mom, Misumi starts crying. Rei congratulates Misumi on her wedding and says that she is recording the video because she doesn't know when her time will come. She says that she feels great taking care of those children, and when she becomes a mother, she wants her to feel the same too. Rei thanks Asano for choosing Misumi, and Asano says that he will always take care of her. But hearing all this, Ichiro gets jealous, and he was about to kill Asano, but the other siblings come and grab him. Even Goliath was there, and they were, reminding him that Asano is now Misumi's husband. Misumi thanks all the guests for coming and says that as a family head, she will perform her duties well, so they should continue their support. After which, she tells everyone to shoot at them as they move forward, hearing which, Asano is shocked, and Ichiro tells him that this is also their tradition, where they have to reach the other side, during which everyone will be shooting at them. But Misumi tells him not to be tense, because the other siblings will protect them. Everyone starts shooting at them, and their other family members were protecting them, and Asano was happy because his life with Misumi is about to start again. So, brothers, this video ends here. Like the channel, and keep subscribing to the video.